What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Look, I kept on pushing the time back, and even with the final moved a certain way, and I couldn't, and yeah, and here we are. My apologies. Y'all already know. Look, the length that Z goes goes to bring y'all the female effery, specifically black female effery. We're gonna work on slowly enraging y'all with political effery. It's gonna it's just gonna be a whole lot, right? So we are here. We are here. Um, okay. So what we have here is that is getting cold outside. It is freezing actually, and it's only going to get colder. Shout out to those of you who are actually in the cold right now. Um, it's a blizzard. As I said, it's only going to get colder. Um, we already know this. We've been prepared for this for many of us. Um, right. Rest in peace, Kevin. As he told us, winter is coming, and winter is here. How cold is it going to get? Nobody knows, but it's going to get pretty damn cold, right? It's going to get pretty damn cold, right? So I have a couple of links, some of which I did not get to previous streams. So we're going to be using that. And we're going to be having Kevin, rest in peace, speak to us about his predictions a few years ago, right? And the links will be from a couple of channels, one of which is More to Life. Shout out to that brother, right? Um, and the other one is from the Gender Score. Shout out to that brother. I think it's one man operation. I'm not sure, but he does really good on the kind of voiceovers, and he actually has one of the characters who resembles Kevin a bit and actually definitely sounds like Kevin. So shout out to him. Um, but we're here now, right? And let me see. I think y'all was helping me out, right? Um, yeah, exactly. Guy Incognito says he tried to save black women, right? Um, yeah, but and Spainman says excuses the tardiness. One of those invasive Florida pythons was found under the hood of on ZZ this morning. Nah, bro, nah. Plus, I haven't driven the Z in a couple months. It needs to work, and and what it actually needs is not that expensive. But seeing that I'm going to have to work on it already, there's other things that pretty much need to be done. Um, yeah, so yeah, I haven't driven the Z in a few months, so we yeah, there's gonna have to be work done. So there's that. So um, back to the topic, right? So the thing with winter being here is the way women are going to respond, and the way I would argue men are going to respond because of the way women are going to respond and react, actually react and respond. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a bit of Kevin speaking about this a few years ago. We're gonna listen to bits of the Gender Score. We're going to listen to bits of the brother More to Life, and we're going to kind of paint the picture. I'm gonna bring up a panel in a little bit. I'm not gonna monologue too long. Anyway, right? Z, you be saying that 3 hours later, and you still monologuing. So I'm gonna try to keep the monologuing to I'm gonna try to keep it short today. We're not gonna try to go too long on this. But when it needs to be said. So we're going to see how some of the women are coping with this. I see y'all are dropping links. Let me click on some of those links now so I can have them in my history while we're speaking. Give me a second. Trail dropped the link. Cold outside, Luda. I see you. And who else? It was somebody else dropped a link earlier. Okay, yeah, Saint Cyr. Okay, got it. How we date, find love, and marry at -71 Celsius. negative 95 degree Fahrenheit. Wow. Siberia. I see you. I see y'all. I see y'all. Jason said, "Let the body set the flow." Hey, it's cold outside. Exactly. Else active. Gucci Mane burr. Man. It is cold outside. It is cold outside. So we're gonna play this. I'm gonna put the volume up so you guys can hear. This is Kevin. I think he was speaking to a lady, so I don't know how long of this I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna play until pretty maybe a few minutes. A few minutes. I did make sure to put everything on 1.25 speed. So for those of you that are not used to that, it might be taking some adjusting to. For those of us that are used to 2 times speed, it ain't nothing, right? So let's listen to what Kevin had to say about the weather outside and the fact that the ladies are not prepared. Not saying that all men are prepared either, but the ladies ain't prepared, and they have a propensity to tell us who they not gonna settle for, um, who wants to be with average anyway. Um, they could do bad all by themselves, and they mean that literally. Well, actually, they mean that figuratively, not literally. But they're gonna be doing all bad by themselves. So once again, rest in peace, Kevin. Um, and actually, let's do this also before we get underway with that. Fair use, fair use. Right. So we'll leave this up for a few seconds. Fair use, fair use. I'm pretty sure Gender Score won't strike me. By the way, Shay Sade did not strike me for that stream. Neither did Media Man. But guess what? I still got a strike because one of the songs that Shay Sade uses in the background, so the video was demonetized anyway. The stream got demonetized. The last one I did anyway, and it wasn't Shay or Media Man. Once again, shout out to Shay Sade. Once again, shout out to Media Man. Okay, now that we have that out the way, the fair use, and we gave all of our disclaimers and whatnot, let's start off with Kevin Samuels speaking to us. All right, here y'all go.
You guys have been living in a fantasy land. You think that it's not going to happen. You think there's going to be some kind of bailout. There's going to be something else. There's going to be nothing. People right now are being put on the streets. In Dallas, Fort Worth, the constables are moving people out, putting their stuff on the front yard. You want to know what's coming, ladies? They're decriminalizing the oldest profession in the book. In New York City right now, the governor, the mayor said we're not going after people who are loitering in the streets. So, like it or not, some parts of Manhattan, some parts of the 5 boroughs have been turned into right there in the streets. Go to World Star, you'll see the video yourself. Broad daylight, transactions happening on a stoplight. Guess what? That's New York. Guess where else it's about to come? California. States across the country, because why? There's not enough money to give to people. And if you're a woman and you have a regular job, let's just look at it. If you were not an essential worker during the pandemic, you are at risk. I was in Neiman Marcus the day they shut the world down, and I had never seen panic like that before. And all those women's eyes, because many of them have been with that company for 10, 20, 10, 5, 10, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. All they had done is retail. Neiman Marcus is on the verge of bankruptcy, and the only thing that saved Neiman Marcus was the pandemic. Those women over there know they are coming back. And when the world stops again, many of these 40-year-old women are not going to have a job to go to and have no skills in the environment. Ladies, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and when winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 3 months. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world. The world, I have been studying this for the better part of 2 years.
Let's pause right there. Y'all already know when I pause it, I got to restart it. So we'll hear that again from Kevin. Once again, rest in peace, Kevin. Shout out to BGS. Shout out to Sarge Willie P. Shout out to, let me pat myself on the back. Shout out to Mr. Z. I went in on him the other day, but shout out to Jason Black. Right? Shout out to all of us who've been saying it, even Obsidian and Angry Man. I disagree with them politically, but shout out to them brothers too. All of us who've been saying, hey, ladies, I'm telling y'all better get on somebody program. Y'all better get on, and for those of us that are black, clearly, y'all better get on the Black Man's program. It's going to, hey, we're looking with our binoculars on, and we're like, is that a snowstorm coming? We have our binoculars on, and we're like, wait a minute, and we tapping each other on the shoulder. Hey, you see that? You see that? And the other ones of us are putting on our binoculars, like, ooh, that's a snowstorm. Shout out to Kevin, like he said, the long night. Oh, that don't look good. Oh, that don't look good at all, right? It look cold outside. It look like it's about to freeze, right? People gonna have to put their jackets on, right? People look about these ladies better put on they gotta have to get layered up, right? Or they're gonna be outside freezing, huh? You're gonna be sitting in your nice, comfy home, drinking hot chocolate, hot cocoa, right? Some coffee or whatnot, and they're gonna be outside at the window freezing, huh? We told the ladies that. They told us they didn't care. They told us those were scare tactics. Ain't that right, Chrissy? Huh? They told us decenter men. Ain't that right, Yanni? All these outliers, like I continue to say, these people are not your friends. Kim Foster, all your class enemies over there. Ain't that right, Kim Foster? We're useless. Ain't that right, Kim Foster? Those of us in the Black Manosphere were like, hey, ladies, I'm telling you, you might want to team up. I'm just saying, it would make my life a whole lot better. Maybe not, but it definitely make your life better. Huh? And instead of coming over here and listening to what we have to say, even though it might be a bitter pill, huh? Even though it might be a bitter pill, instead of them coming over here and listening to what we have to say, they would much rather go over there to Kim Foster. Okay, fine. Go over there to Chrissy. Okay, fine. Go over there to Shira Seven so she could tell you how to scam dudes. Okay, fine. Go over there to Real Talk with Yanni so she could tell you how to buzz yourself to death instead of getting on a black man's program, right? She could tell you the wonders of enjoying your self-pleasure instead of getting on a black man's program. Okay, fine. Y'all want to go over there to Divested Zealous so she could spew her neo-Nazi crap. Okay, fine. Huh? Meanwhile, black men were doing the math. Black men in the Black Manosphere were doing the math. Y'all want to clap it up for Ebony K. Williams. Only if he owns the bus. Y'all know, only if he owns the bus. Okay, fine. Huh? Yeah. Y'all would much rather listen to Princella in her same-sex loving ways. Huh? Because y'all all about the power. Well, I don't know, ladies. It's looking it's looking kind of cold outside, and it don't look like y'all bundled up. It don't look like y'all ready. It look like y'all freezing already, and we didn't even start yet. Our they're just not getting to the real austerity. Take that back. They didn't even get to the real austerity yet, and y'all look like y'all freezing, huh? Shout out to Kevin Samuels. He said it to y'all about two and somebody. Some of y'all could have had a 2 year long relationship, 3 year long relationship, 3.5 year long relationship already. If you had listened to Kevin from the beginning when he really started to blow up, huh? But now y'all outside looking cold. Well, huh? Just saying. So let's play that back, and we'll get to the other clips. Hey, ladies, I hear y'all. The way y'all coping. Well, I guess if I don't ever have kids, then so be it. All right. What I'm coming to terms with what would my life look like if I never get married and have kids. By the way, the African sister, maybe African, but the African sister in the UK, not the only one. I'm gonna play a clip that where white women saying the same thing. Hey, all that coping sound nice. White women, black women, Latina women, Asian women, whoever Asian women are on that. Yeah, that sound nice. Sounds like coping. Don't sound genuine or authentic at all. Oh well. Anyway, let's get back to what Kevin was saying a few years ago at this point. and y'all mocked him, and black women danced on his grave. Anyway, here y'all go. Kevin from the grave, everyone. Talking about dancing on his grave. Kevin from the grave. Here y'all go.
Look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? There are villages in Japan where people are outnumbered by freaking dolls. I'm not kidding. Japan is dying. An aging population and a group of people who are not dating. They're not dating. They're not marrying. They're not getting together. You know what it's called? Hikomori. Socially withdrawal. Socially withdrawn. These I'm talking about men 40, 45 and under. Same thing with women. Remember we talked about Kodukoshi? People dying in their apartments. We talked about Singyu, leftover cake, leftover women. Ladies, it's here. Winter is coming. August will be it. August, when the schools open, the people who have not been working will be forced to go back to work because the children must be in school. The daycares that are left will be there. What are you going to do if you go and have a job and you've been downsized, you've been automated? How many people have been to a McDonald's recently? And you'll notice that most of the front register staff is gone. It's kiosks. The largest two employers in our community of black women are federal government and retail. Retail is dead. We have 26.4 square feet of retail space for every American. The next largest developed country has 6. We have 6 times too many retail spaces. This is why you're seeing dying malls across the country. And what's going on? Because so many women are not being told to think about their long term. This is coming as a
Facts.
surprise. This is why women in Korea are saying we need to, the society is not set up for single people. And what the society needs to do is re-engineer itself for singles. Bullshit. It's not going to happen. Basically what women in Korea and Japan are hoping that single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives. Not going.
Wait a minute, Kevin. Wait a minute. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Wait a minute, Kevin. Are you telling me the Japanese women doing the same thing black women are doing in the U.S.? Oops. They think they're gonna double back on the dudes that they tried. Ain't that right, Randy Rosario? Huh? They think they're gonna shame the men that they turned their noses up at 15 and 20 years ago when they were right and tight at 22 and 23 and 24 and 25 and 26 and 27. They're gonna those guys that they turned their nose up at before 30, before the age of 30, they're gonna double back on the other side of 40 and 45, maybe 50. Shout out to Vivica A. Fox. Maybe 60? Huh? So Kevin telling us the ladies are expecting you to put the coat out on for them. They expect you to let them inside while they freezing. Huh? Because they not laid up. Huh? They're freezing outside, everybody. They're freezing. Kevin told Kevin didn't even use the black community as example. He went all the way literally to the other side of the planet in Japan and used that as an example to say, hey ladies, it ain't looking good. You see that as an example. I'm just saying. And what did black women do a couple years out after his death when 4B movement became at least rhetorically popular? They jumped on it just to spite black men. Western women in general, American women, chronically online and chronically single, huh? At least rhetorically, they jumped on that 4B movement just to spite men in general, and for black women to spite black men specifically. That sound nice, ladies. Huh? All that sound nice with your nuclear powered rose toys. Huh? 4B movement. That sound nice. I guess y'all are out here munching on each other. Huh? Golden Girls lifestyle. I get you. Huh? Kevin went all the way across the world to say, hey, I see what the Japanese women are doing. They think they're gonna double back on the guys that they turned their noses up at, and the guys that weren't getting much or anything like that. Hey, black women, I'm just saying, it don't look like it really worked for the Japanese women that were out here, leftover women or whatever. Clearly, it ain't working. We already see we have plenty of examples in China. It's not working. All those women approaching 40, full blown panic mode. Some of them trying to be stoked. Some of them trying to do the same thing black women do and shame the men. Why are y'all going over there to get Eastern European women? Why would you rise to the level I put the bar at? And the men said, no. If the Chinese men are saying no, dear black women, what do you think? Uh-oh. Them Chinese men are sliding off on them, the Chinese women, and going to find them a Eastern European woman like a boss, a Southeast Asian woman like a boss. Uh-oh. It ain't looking good, ladies. Shout out to black women. I forgot black women think they're gonna be the exception to the rule. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right, all right. It's cold outside, everyone. It is cold outside. Well, let's continue. Well, it looks like it's not starting over for the audio recording, so I might start utilizing that a little bit more. So let's see if it starts over and it continues where I left off. Let's see.
Lies. Not going to happen. All right. Go ahead and unmute. Hello.
Okay, we'll get back to that another time, but because I might want to bring it back to see what that conversation was like between Kevin and whoever that lady was. But y'all heard Kevin. Y'all heard him. That was what, 3 years ago, give or take now? Yeah. That was like 3 years ago. And he gave fair warning. The women said it was scare tactics. Chrissy said, he's making fun of my image. No. Mahogany Pink said the only reason she made her videos was to respond to Kevin Samuels. Uh-oh. Rebecca Lynn Pope over here with the crocodile tears for a 30-something-year-old single mother, calling her a girl, Miss Average at best. Huh? And winter's here now. It's not even winter. A blizzard is here now. It's a blizzard outside. Huh? And they're not layered up. It's a blizzard outside, and the Randy Rosarios, who's married, by the way, but she know for her sister in, she trying to shame y'all so that when her sister in come back and double back, when her sister in double back for the type of guys they looked down on in high school. But Mr. Z told you this is not about when we minors. The type of guys they looked down on when we were in our early 20s and mid 20s. Now we in our mid 30s and our late 30s and our early 40s, mid 40s, late 40s. Uh-oh. Randy Rosario's like, hey, y'all need to let it go. Let it take on the single mothers that turn their noses up at you or that use you as a foodie call 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. She didn't even have the ovaries to overtly say it, what needed to be said. Give them a second chance. Oh no, but that would take some reflection, and that would take you knowing you are not in the power position. Uh-oh. That would take one of the words that black women detest the most. That would take some humble. Uh-oh. And you know, black women would rather die under a goddamn bridge than be humble, especially to a black man. Oh boy, they can't do it. They would rather die starving. And guess what? Some of y'all might. Huh? Exactly, L's active. Fear mongering, they said. Exactly. Scare tactics and fear mongering. Exactly. That's what the ladies told us. It was fear mongering and scare tactics. Huh? Let's continue because I'm not trying to monologue for too long. Let's continue. Let's play this. And this is from the brother. I think his channel's name is More Life. Actually let's give him his props. Let's actually give the right title to you guys. More to Life. I'm sorry, More to Life. Right, and here you go from More to Life. We're gonna play these, and I'm gonna try to go through without pausing too much, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, and here y'all go.
I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like we don't have any options, it's actually because our type doesn't like us.
But LA, whew, honey, the black men out here, some of them, honestly, they really just don't like black women.
My issue dating in LA is that I get too excited every time I see it.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get all my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
Talk to y'all about something. I recently went to an event and there were about 1,000 people there. And of the couples that were there, about 95% of them were black men with non-black women. The person leading the event was a black man that was married to a white woman. I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. This is pretty much what the dating scene looks like overall in LA.
Now, why is this happening? That's happening in LA, but why? Is there a problem? I think there is. What are the women of our culture doing in LA? Superficial. Think they deserve it all. These different groups of women are accepting. Yes, they are accepting black men. I actually love it, to be honest with you, because we're accepted worldwide now. We've been accepted, but now we're accepted worldwide, and it's a beautiful thing.
Here are 4 other observations that I picked up on since moving to LA. 1, it's not equal. It's not like I'm seeing a bunch of black women dating outside their race. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all.
Kind of surprised myself.
2, it's gotten so bad that at this point, whenever I do see it.
Oh, y'all know Mr. Z had to pause it on that one. Oh, wait a minute. Not California, not LA in California. Oh no. Wait a minute. According to Crystalline Karazin and all her people, her minions, her sycophants, her followers and subscribers, according to Chrissy in all of her comment section, according to the divested zealot, divested witch, according to all these divestors and swirlers, they see black women all over the place with white guys and Latino guys, maybe even an Asian here or there. Oh no, not a black woman saying she's not seeing black women dating anyone. Uh-oh. Oh no. That's why I said the other day, dear ladies, y'all gotta get your lives together. Dear black women, you gotta go sit down with white women, Latina women, and Asian women so y'all can get your lives together. Huh? Because y'all ladies, y'all telling us y'all good single. Y'all not cold. Y'all not freezing. Huh? Y'all good. Y'all told us y'all good with your rose toy. Huh? Y'all told us y'all and the white guy, y'all are straight. You're good. That's what we were told. Uh-oh. Not a black woman saying, actually, I don't see black women dating much of anybody. Right? Thank you, the dustiest of Ronins. The dustiest of Ronin says, Z, are you saying that they are, gasp, fibbing? Grabs invisible pearls, right? It looks like somebody's lying, dear black women. Looks like somebody's lying and coping, and y'all want to talk about scare tactics? Huh? Y'all want to talk about scare tactics? It looked like y'all were lying the whole time. Huh? To try to fear black men into bowing and scraping because what, some mythical, magical white guy was going to come and save you? Huh? You would be saved by some mythical, magical white guy?
A man could have saved your child.
Huh? Uh-oh, ladies, it ain't looking good. She said black women ain't dating nobody from what she's seeing in LA. Huh? And I'm gonna read this one now. Exactly. Mr. Z is not really about it. I prefer black women. If I could find one, that has her head on her shoulders, it's nearly impossible. But okay, we won't leave that one. And Guy Incognito says, and thank you for the super chat. As we date out black men, protect our reputation. Once again, Guy Incognito says, and I agree, as we date out black men, protect our reputation. Huh? Exactly, and you get one of these, Guy Incognito. Huh? Unlike the ladies who are going overseas, it ain't looking good, who are dating domestically, being the little rag for these non-black men who don't marry them. Huh? The trampoline for these non-black men who don't marry them. And then got the nerve to tell you as a black man what you lack and what you're not doing. Huh? Dear ladies, you could continue to speak and act like you're perfectly okay with being single and you could do bad all by yourself, right? While you're dying inside. Huh? That lady says she don't see black women dating much of anyone. And I don't find her ugly. She could, she looking a little rough, but she's not a hideous woman. Why are you single, ma'am? I mean, that bar is pretty damn high in LA. But yeah, why are you single, ma'am? Dear black women, I said it before, you're going to have to learn to compete. And not for non-black men. You're going to have to compete for black men. It's a new day and it's cold outside. And these non-black women are going to fight you for black men. I'm not joking. Some of you remember Mr. Z saying this even a few years ago. Don't be surprised if you start hearing stories of black women and Latina women thumping over a black man. In certain areas of the country, it's already happening. You just don't hear national news about it. In the LAs, I know it's already happening. It's happening here in Miami, and I know it's happening in New York. Huh? Because these women feel a certain way, right? Uh-oh. Let's play this, and then we'll go back to more to life, right? For those of you that doubt me, once again, this is a woman who visited Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and she's going to, for those of you who never heard this, most of you have already heard this, she's going to explain to you from a black woman's perspective how black women and black men are treated differently overseas, specifically Germany. Here y'all go.
Men in Germany are treated way differently than black women in Germany. Black men are appreciated in Germany. Black men are put in a cultural sense, in a societal sense, you are seen as interesting, whereas black women are seen as lesser.
An experience,
a novelty in which you can approach voyeuristically, and it's dehumanizing. I was a member at Soho House, and I remember seeing a black man sitting there, and there was all these white women around him glorifying him, gawking at the fact that he was existing. And I think Black men need to acknowledge that their lived experience in Germany is disproportional to that of a Black woman in Germany.
Huh? That caught me in the middle of chewing. Give me a second. Sorry, y'all, Mrs. Z over here being a fat ass. Okay, so what that lady essentially expressed about Germany is what I would argue a lot of Black women feel. They just don't got the ovaries to say it because they don't want to give you the power, Black men. There's another clip on one of these kind of talk shows where online talk shows where a sister said similar. Like, yeah, these women, they be fawning over Black men. But she didn't have this type of tone about it, though. But the vast majority of Black women, they're not going to say that, whether it's online discourse or not. They can't. First of all, they don't want you to be feeling yourself like that. Secondly, that would mean that they realize that they're going to have to compete, not just to get you, but to keep you. Ooh, right? And they just can't do it. There's something about their ego. They can't do it. Huh? BGS said, wash down that biscuit. I'm not eating Popeyes. No Popeyes today. I can't have Popeyes all the time, boy. If I had Popeyes all the time, Mr. Z would be shaped like a goddamn bowling ball. I can't do it. Right? Trying to be out here looking sexy. Right? Okay, y'all. Let's continue. And actually, it's gonna start over. So let's see if Mr. Z can actually make it, because we got a little minute to go. Okay, here y'all go.
I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing Black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like we don't have any options, it's actually because our type doesn't like us.
But LA, whew, honey, the Black men out here, some of them, honestly, they really just don't like Black women.
My issue dating in LA is that I get too excited every time I see it.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get all my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
I recently went to an event and there were about 1,000 people there. And of the couples that were there, about 95% of them were Black men with non-Black women. The person leading the event was a Black man that was married to a white woman. I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. This is pretty much what the dating scene looks like overall in LA.
Now, why is this happening? That's happening in LA, but why? Is there a problem? I think there is. What are the women of our culture doing in LA? Superficial. Think they deserve it all. These different groups of women are accepting. Yes, they are accepting Black men. I actually love it, to be honest with you, because we're accepted worldwide now. We've been accepted, but now we're accepted worldwide, and it's a beautiful thing.
Here are 4 other observations that I picked up on since moving to LA. 1, it's not equal. It's not like I'm seeing a bunch of Black women dating outside their race. In fact, I'm barely seeing Black women dating at all.
Kind of surprised myself.
2, it's gotten so bad that at this point, whenever I do see a Black man that's single, the first thing that I'm asking myself is, I wonder if he dates Black women. 3, within the past couple months, I've had conversations with multiple Black women that actually want to leave LA. Not because of the economy, not because they aren't flourishing in their careers, but simply because they feel like there's no love for them in LA. The fact that I know so many beautiful, talented, compassionate, evolved Black women that are all feeling the same way makes no sense to me. And lastly, when you don't see yourself reflected in a space, you feel like you don't exist. As a Black woman myself, I can tell you honestly, when it comes to the romantic space, I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Now, do you think I gotta ask this question to everybody watching? Because actually, it's a stupid question. Because of course the guys are trying. What's happening in LA? Why can't they find somebody? Consistently saying to themselves, "Oh, I can wait." It's better out there. Let me throw that fish back in the sea, right? That can't happen. It can't happen there because it's kind of like New York, right? If you don't bite, there's 1,000 other girls that will. And that's what guys are showing, especially out there. They're showing it more. What's happening? They're starting to buckle.
I was just talking about dating with one of my friends, and she said that a lot of the times when we feel like we don't have any options, it's actually because our type doesn't like us.
I wonder why.
Like, we think that nobody wants us just because we are not our type's type, basically. And this is so real.
Have we
It's
not
such a
said this
good
before?
perspective. And this doesn't mean that you're not your type's type anywhere geographically. It just might mean that even like where you live, the guys that you like there might not be attracted to you. And so like I live in LA, and I can really elaborate on this because a lot of black men in LA don't like black women. And then if they like black women, they like racially ambiguous women or like lighter skin complexion. And as a dark skinned woman, I don't fit into that. But it might be a lot of black guys that I'm naturally attracted to.
You know what's the bugged out thing? When you say, like as a man, and men know that's real. When you say, oh, the women don't like me here, what's going to start happening? That's going to happen because you've already doubted yourself. So this doubting yourselves over and over and over, instead of looking, see, that's the difference. A man has to hunt. They don't have to hunt. So they're ready to leave. A man will figure it out. Let a man sit there and give that excuse. Oh, women don't like me here. They're going to hunt first.
Too. But then I was in New York this past summer, and I couldn't go to a black event without black men that are my type approaching me. And I felt like I had a plethora of options. So it's not like in LA, there are no options for me. It's just like the people that I'm looking at and looking for might not be attracted to me here. But I can go date a white man. I can go date a this race, that race. There are people. There are options. There's always somebody that wants you and that is attracted to you. But you have to kind of analyze like whether you rather kind of stay to yourself until you get to a different geographical location, or if you want to kind of change your type and open it up a little bit. It all goes along with this concept of like, go where you're loved, and you will start like, you know, remembering and reminding yourself that like you are loved and you are desirable. Not that you need somebody to do that, but like, you know, everybody needs a little bit of validation. And it's like you keep searching for validation from people who you're just not their type. You're just not their type.
Don't you think that's maybe what the men did? They went to where they're loved. It's true. Now, if someone is starting arguments and causing drama over nonsense, does that feel like love? No, it doesn't. It feels like a fight. It feels like controversy. It feels like turmoil. It feels like I can't trust you because every time I'm talking to you, it's a fight. Seriously. Every time you talk to somebody, it's a fight. It's like you're my enemy. Why am I going to battle every time I walk through the door? It's a problem. That's not the case in every situation, but most. It's bad.
My issue dating in LA is that I get too excited every time I see like an actual black man I would consider dating. It's like you have to be the one because there are literally no other options. Nada, zilch, zero, cero. I can't date a white man.
And she said, I can't date a white man at the end. Nope. We telling y'all, hey, we are, dear black women, you have full permission. You have full permission to go, as a matter of fact. Not only are we telling you to go, we're kicking you out. To that dark chocolate sister that said, you know, when I go to New York and you know, my type is attracted to me, but it's something about in LA and but I could date a white man. Ma'am, you have, not only do you have full permission to go, I'm pretty sure the LA Negroes are like this with you. Dear black women, let me say, I'm gonna say this as arrogant as humanly possible. No, I'm not gonna say this arrogant as humanly possible. You gonna stop trying to threaten black men with white men. We're gonna make you mean it. And I want to be very clear. I've said this before. Most black men do not interact with the black manosphere. When Mr. Z says we're gonna make you mean it, once again, as I said before, y'all have made yourself so insufferable that adult men, young black men, black boys are so turned off by y'all rhetoric that they're gonna make y'all mean it by not being anywhere near you. Just like the sister with the bob was saying. So to the dark chocolate black woman that was speaking, if that's how you gotta cope, fine, but we gotta make you mean it. You could date white men. Yeah, can you get one to marry you though? Can you get one to stay married to you? Ooh. Don't tell us about no dating. Rest in peace, Kevin. We count wedding rings over here. Don't tell us about no dating. Huh? And to that black woman at the end, she was all right looking. No, ma'am, if you're insufferable for black men, or you gonna end up dating a white dude. And that's all it's gonna be for the most part. We already know what them white guys are on when it comes to women of color, generally speaking, black women specifically. Huh? Huh? If we find you to be insufferable, in other words, too materialistic, too consumerist, mean, snarky, rude, entitled, huh? If black men as a collective, wherever you are, have thrown you out, then we are saying, as Black Uru says here, then go date the white man. Exactly. Exclamation point. Exactly. Dear black women, we going to make you mean it. No more. Are you sure about that?
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
How ironic it's the white man saying, are you sure about that? Huh? Dear black women, we are going to make you mean it. I could always date a white man. Oh, can you now? First of all, prove it. Secondly, let's see if you get the ring. Let's see how long that marriage lasts. Prove it. Black women always want to threaten you with some goddamn omnipotent, omniscient, non-black man, primarily white man. You already know. Huh? But it's cold outside, ladies. It's freezing outside. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see if the white men want to give you their jacket, right? Their sweater, their cardigan, so that you could be layered up in the cold. Huh? It's a blizzard outside. The temperature's falling. Huh? Or are the white men going to leave you out there in the cold, out the window as they sip hot cocoa, sip chocolate? Not. Ooh, Mr. Z caught himself with the pun there. Oh, well, anyway, we're gonna leave that one alone, please. We just made a wrong turn in the rainbow land. Anyway, yeah. Are white men gonna be in their homes warm with their white woman, or an Asian woman, or a white Latina woman? Huh? While you're looking out the window, while you're looking in the window, better yet, voyeuristically. Dear black women, you're going to stop threatening black men with these omnipotent white guys. We're going to make you mean it. Huh? We're going to make you mean it as you reach up for the white man.
Could have saved your child.
Huh? And let's actually read this. Where did that go? Y'all gives you a second. Hey, and shout out, yeah, to the young lady with the bob, right? Should have checked your sister. Black women now freezing. Huh? Let's actually play that very short, because it was in the very beginning. Let's play that. I think it's only like 5 seconds long.
I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like we
And there you go. Now we can play this Joe and read this Joe's better yet. And Joe says, should have checked your sister, black women. Now it's freezing. There you go. Now it's freezing. Dear young lady with the bob, would you say
I'd
again?
be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
that a lot of the times when we feel like we
Uh-oh. Let me say this again. For those of you who recall Mr. Z saying this, dear black women, you're going to have to go to war. There needs to be a civil war amongst black women all across the West, quite frankly, but definitely in America. There needs to be a civil war. And ma'am, if you are triggered by seeing black men dating out, you're going to have to take black women to task for that. Don't come over here telling us, black men, don't try to shame us, black men. Huh? Don't tell us how your sister are messing up. No. Go talk to them. And there might be some pow, wapow. Right? That's what I need. I need to get the sound of the old Batman backhand sounds, the slap sounds, the punching sound. You know what? Coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up, y'all. That's what I need. Huh? So, hey, if y'all, Mr. Z is not advocating for violence on his channel. We are not advocating for violence. What we are saying is, sometimes a dislodged nose gets people right. I'm just saying. We're not advocating for violence, but sometimes you got to get physical for your own good and for the betterment of your people. Huh? Sometimes. Huh? Sometimes people need, they need to be baptized. Right? They need to be baptized for them to get their mind right, right? Sometimes putting your hands on someone and just reminding them, hey, there's power in hands, right? There's some power in these hands. Because if you don't, what they do is drag you and your daughters and your nieces and your granddaughters to hell with them. Huh? They scorch earth everything. Huh? Because they're mad, because they're angry. They scorch earth everything. Ain't that right? Real talk with Yanni and all the rest of you white and black women and some Latinas, Asian women ain't really saying it, with the decenter men thing. Scorch earth everything because the men you find attractive won't bow to you. Huh? Dear black women, y'all gonna have to go to war with these other ones. Or are you gonna continue to sound like
I'd be
this?
lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like,
huh? Let me get this right. If black men, y'all think it's just quote unquote black men obsessed with non-black women, while black men would maybe overlook a slightly better looking or even just a straight up better looking black woman for a heavier Latina, for a Latina who may not look as good? You don't understand why that might be? You think it's because he's intimidated by your education? Huh? 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 And y'all gives you a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. As a matter of fact, while we're doing that, let's actually play this next clip. Here y'all go.
Bullet.
This is the one right here. And I'm going to tread lightly because I know people be in their feelings when it comes to race and all of that. But when it comes to California, yes, there are black men. But if you're a certain type of woman and you're looking for a specific type of black man, in my opinion, when we're talking about sophistication and all of that, they're not here in LA. They're just not here. And if they are here, they don't like black women. So her comment definitely is on point, as far as, there being no black men. Now, when you go to the East Coast, that's where you can find a black man of sophistication, that has a great job and is doing well for himself and is not wearing skinny jeans, But LA, whew, honey, the black men out here, some of them, honestly, they really just don't like black women. They're looking for a specific type of.
Wait a minute. Some of them just don't like black women. Look, we live in America. There are laws. Um, there are rules and regulations to keep people from discriminating against you. That doesn't mean that it goes through all the way. We know there's de jure and there's de facto, et cetera, right? We know this, right? And so listening to this lady say, there's some black men that don't like black women. Black men don't have to like black women. Ooh, goddamn, Z, you said that. Ooh, Z, you said it. You said it. Huh? Now, this is coming from a black man that prefers black women, that really couldn't see him marrying a woman who isn't black. Yeah, but black men don't have to like black women. Are black women likable? Uh-oh. Ooh. Z, ask the question again. Chrissy, are black women likable? Yanni, are black women likable? Divested Zealot, are black women likable? Kim Foster, are black women likable? Huh? Chrislyn Karazin, are black women likable? Cynthia G, are black women likable? Uh-oh. Mahogany Pink, are black women likable? Huh? B. Taylor, are black women likable? Oof, Z, Jesus Christ. Huh? Black men don't have to like black women. You say that like that's the problem, that black men don't like black women. Are black women likable? Huh? Are black women likable? Okay, we snap our fingers tomorrow. Every black man in America disappears. Would black women be likable then? Uh-oh. Okay, what about a year from then? Would black women be likable then? Okay, what about a decade later? Would black women be likable then? Huh? Thank you. Compassion says, Yitch, it's your job to be likable. It's not my job to make you likable or make myself like you if you're not likable. This is why we say go get it from the white man then. Huh? That's why we say that. That's why Mr. Z is saying, yeah, we kicking you. Shout out to the Roger Report. There's the black community, and there's the black single mama community. Single baby mama community. That means that black men have kicked you out, ma'am. Not saying that you're a single mom. Huh? If you're not likable, then you might as well. Huh? If you're not likable, then.
Bye, Felicia.
Black men in LA, they don't like black women. Black men don't like black women. We don't owe you us liking you if you're not likable. What drugs are y'all on? You're not owed that. Is Mr. Z, in real life, Mr. Z is pretty cordial to everyone, right? Especially in first meeting, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all know how this goes. As I said before, Mr. Z is pretty respectable, right? With that, dear black women, you're not owed being liked by anyone, to be frank with you. And we do live in America, you might want to work on trying to be likable, especially now that it's blizzards outside. Huh? It's cold as hell outside. Huh? It's freezing outside. But black women have spent so long being insufferable to black men in specific that now you don't have the black men to protect you and have you layered up so you can walk through that blizzard. Well, right? And let's continue. Well, it's gonna start over, but here we go.
Bullet.
This is the one right here. And I'm going to tread lightly because I know people be in their feelings when it comes to race and all of that. But when it comes to California, yes, there are black men. But if you're a certain type of woman and you're looking for a specific type of black man, in my opinion, when we're talking about sophistication and all of that, they're not here in LA. They're just not here. And if they are here, they don't like black women. So her comment definitely is on point, as far as, there being no black men. Now, when you go to the East Coast, that's where you can find a black man of sophistication, that has a great job and is doing well for himself and is not wearing skinny jeans, But LA, whew, honey, the black men out here, some of them, honestly, they really just don't like black women. They're looking for a specific type of aesthetic. And if you don't fit that, then you're out of luck, in this dating scene. And I'm finding that, if you're a black woman and you're really true to yourself and true to who you are, and you're not conforming and doing, everything that these other girls are doing out in the streets, they don't want you. They don't want the good girls anymore. They want the easy ones. They want the ones with the BBLs. They want the ones, that I don't even know what they want, honestly. Maybe y'all can chime in the comments. But to be honest with you, LA really is not a great place to date. In my opinion, I feel like if I lived like on the East Coast or something, I probably would be better off because black men out there actually like black women.
Yeah. Then she goes over to the East Coast, and it's another problem. Because you have to remember,
exactly,
guys have to talk to you. You can get over there and have an unwelcoming face, a rude demeanor. You don't know how to flirt, and guys aren't going to talk to you. There are women in those locations who never get talked to. So it depends on your mindset. And not even just that, it depends on if a guy wants you. Because look, and you notice all of them, what did they say? Go from LA to New York. What does that mean? They're looking for this. They're looking for a guy who makes a certain amount, a certain height, and they know the only cities they're going to find
Mr.
that
Talbert, you're correct.
is New York or LA. Why? Because in New York and LA, you have to make that kind of money to survive. So yeah, you're gonna get a guy that makes that money, and then it's not gonna be enough. Like imagine this: like you get out there, you find a guy because you can't find any black men where you are, and then he's struggling. Like I saw a documentary of a guy. I believe what's the name showed it one time. Mediocre showed it, and you could the tutorials and reviews. He showed it, and the guy was making over 100,000, and he was broke. Why? Because he didn't have good money management. He didn't manage his money correctly. Now there are some guys, and this is what's sad. A lot of y'all don't realize this. A guy could be making 70,000 and have more money than a guy making 100,000 because he manages his money wisely. See, it's not all about the amount you make. It's about what you do with it. You can make 50,000 and invest your money wisely and have more money than a guy 80 or 100 or 150. It's all a matter of circumstances. Realize that.
New York is really not the same New York I grew up in. I just saw a woman struggling to come down the stairs with her baby carriage, and men literally walked by. Of course, I stopped her and I said, "Ma'am, can I help you?" And I helped her all the way down 3 flights. Like, what happened to New York? What happened to men in New York?
Those days are over.
Yeah, ma'am. Y'all told us y'all were amazing and beautiful and strong and proud and confident and inspiring, and so we took what you said. Y'all saw y'all were fierce and determined, and so we took what you said and we believed you. So what happened was we thought she could do it. Shout out to New York. I've been to New York a few dozen times, right? I've been to New York a couple dozen times. That's not just a New York thing. That's a Western thing. The women said y'all were good. That's what the ladies said. Right? And let's read this one now. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat, this would be heartbreaking if they weren't such a-holes about everything. The ladies complaining, yes. But they told us they were good. They told us they'd do bad all by themselves. If they can't acquire the man that they find attractive and appealing, they're good. So men and the environment are putting them to the test. The environment and men are putting them to the test. And it's cold outside. It's a blizzard outside. And I have to keep on reiterating this. The majority of men are not part of no manosphere. The majority of black men are not part of a black manosphere. When Mr. Z says men and the environment are putting them to the test, what I'm saying is the men that are not part of the black manosphere have heard you ladies, and they're moving accordingly. You told them that you could do it by yourself. You were good. You didn't need them. They were a hindrance, right? That's what you said. And so they moved out of your way. Dear black women, you said you were good being single, right? That's what you said. You said you were good with your rose toy. Huh? That's what you said. You said you were good with your rose toy. You were good with your money. You were hoarding your money, trying to stay away from us, right? You would walk past us like this. You would walk past black men like that. Huh? Mean mugging black men all the time. Huh? Dear black women, you said you would much rather munch on another black woman than deal with black men, especially black men that are not on your level, so much so that even Dr. Richard Reeves mentioned it off the cuff. Uh-oh. Huh? Dear black women, you spoke of black men that you earned more than. You spoke of them like this.
You are broke, and I choose to deal with you. I will belittle you. It is what it is.
Huh? That's how you spoke of black men. You spoke of black men like
Miss
this.
when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? So as KMS said, this would be heartbreaking if they weren't such a-holes about everything. Right? So to the young ladies who sound
I'd
like
be
this,
lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like,
huh? When you sound like that, I get it, but you gotta check your sister in. See, when y'all on brunch and they talking crazy, y'all clap it up for them, or at best you might say nothing. No, it's Civil War time. It is Civil War time. No more just sitting on the sidelines, tacitly agreeing, right? Agreeing enthusiastically, maybe disagreeing, but not saying anything because you don't want to ruffle any feathers and you don't want to. Nope. Huh? I agree with KMS 100% on that. And KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. You get one of these. Huh? And I did not forget, but excuse me, I did not forget about you, Grinch. I did not forget about you, Vince, and Detroit. We're coming there. We're coming there. And Lion says, who told you that black men had to like you? So let's say that again. Who told you that black men had to like you? I don't know where they get this from. Especially if you're not likable. How do you know whether you're likable or not, ladies? Do you got a man? Ooh, goddamn. Litmus test number 1. Uh-oh. Ooh. After men are done having fun, uh-oh. When he has that post-orgasm clarity, does he stay or does he go? Oof. You want to know whether you're likable or not. Ma'am, you're not owed being liked. No one is. This is not, I'm not saying this just to black women. I'm not saying this just to women. No one like is deserving of this thing. And you hear this from women all the time. As a matter of fact, a clip I'm gonna play a little bit later. The white woman said, everyone deserves. Oh, wait, wait a minute. White woman. No. Wait. No. Where y'all get this deserve and worthy thing from? Especially the deserve word. Wait, y'all think y'all could be insufferable, mean, condescending, rude, entitled, materialistic consumers, and still are quote unquote deserving of any man, to be frank with you, let alone a top tier man? What drugs? Huh? I need to know what pills y'all on. I need to know what drugs y'all on. Huh? And thank you for the super chat line. Thank you for the super chat. You get one of these? Huh? I gotta read this one now. Goddamn. Else active sis, and thank you for the super chat. With all the black girl magic, you can't manifest a fire. They can't manifest a fire, but we can, right? Right. Shout out to Captain Yamamoto. He died heroically, right? And you get one of these. Yeah, but they look. It the manifesting is all of this is coping, and you're gonna listen into a couple of more clips I have. The ladies are coping. Why are we covering this, Z? Because it's cold, right? I'm I'm gonna try to get in contact with BGS, and I'm gonna take a few days off later on this month and early next month maybe, and I'm gonna try to like knock out as many of these promised streams that I was supposed to do for you guys. I'm gonna try to knock out at least 2 of them. So Buckeye fan, we might be coming to you finally. But definitely compassionate. I'm gonna try to get that Powell memo done, and I want to kind of tie, because BGS speaks about the environment like ad nauseum, right? And don't worry about the women. The environment gonna take care of them. But I want to tie these things very overtly, right? And like as I'm saying here, it's getting cold. This is what this stream is about. We here know. We're paying attention, especially like Z, right? I put my political hat back on, and like I'm all over it, right? Everything from Stephen Miller, or bum ass, to Elon, borderline neo-Nazi. Anyway, huh? To the almost 80-year-old man-child Trump. This is the environment that the ladies thought they were going to do what in? Uh-oh. What y'all thought y'all was going to do with this? Huh? What y'all thought y'all was going to do with it, dear ladies? Or do y'all feel like y'all were tricked by white feminists? Oh. Huh? Actually, let y'all see that again. Y'all thought y'all was tricked by white feminists. Oh, no, y'all weren't tricked. Y'all went along with what y'all wanted to. And now we're here. We're here now. And it's cold outside. Huh? And let's finally read this from Detroit. And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. It's Ice Age, -10. It's not going to do better. The dollar is failing in 2 more years. Falling in 2 more years. I'm sorry. Falling in 2 more years. Housing market is dead. No one prepares for it. All I gotta say is R.I.P. The BlackRocks of the world are buying up whole neighborhoods of houses. Huh? And keeping them. It's not renovating them, putting them back on the market at a slightly increased price. No, it's keeping them because it's going to rent them at an astronomical rate, and you ain't going to be able to talk to nobody. You're not going to be able to talk to your landlord. Hey, I'm running a little late. The way my checks are set up. Nope. Everything's going to be automated. You want to talk about atomized? Uh-oh. You imagine not being for all of us like old school or like we like speaking to someone. This is an issue. So I'll tell you right now why my sound is the way it is. Y'all know Mr. Z has had his phone for years. And it was a time to upgrade. Y'all know I'm looking at the S25 Ultra, but I wanted the terabyte, but I know the terabyte doesn't come with my service provider. So I was gonna get the 512 gig. They don't have the 512 gig in any store. You got to special order it online, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, fine. All right, we gonna handle that. Whatever. In the meantime, can't use a headphone jack because the headphone jack then gave a crap. All right, okay, cool, whatever. So Mr. Z is using wireless headphones. Why is Mr. Z telling this story when he was just talking about the automated systems? Because getting in contact with a goddamn real life person, my service provider give you the runaround. Everything is automated. You got to damn near throw a conniption on the phone and press 0 a zillion times and say operator a zillion times to actually speak to a person. And the ladies live in that environment. We do too as men. We live in that environment. Huh? You can't go hide out in a call center anymore, ladies. What call center? I'm not saying there's no more. I'm just saying. Huh? Yeah, the struggle's real. It's cold outside. Mr. Z damn near threw a conniption yesterday to speak to someone and be like, hey, is there any store in the region? Because the phone just dropped yesterday. I wanted to be the cool guy and brag about, oh, I got it the day it dropped. Nope, didn't happen. Right? I'll have to wait until next week. Right? But it's cold outside. Exactly what Detroit said. It's -10 outside. It's ice age. Right? There's a blizzard outside. Huh? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And you get one of these. If Mr. Z could find it, you get one of these. Right? And once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That's all. So let's see. Are we going to play this one now? Let's see if we could get through this one and Mr. Z don't give a monologue throughout. I'm probably going to pause it, but here we go.
Welcome to today's episode. In this video,
before we actually get underway with that, Mr. Z started a little too early. Once again, fair use, right? And shout out to Gender Score. So this is from Gender Score. The previous few clips was from More to Life. Shout out to that brother. And this is from Gender Score. So we will be playing this. And let's get underway.
Welcome to today's episode. In this video, we dive into a startling trend. 67% of men are walking away from dating, and the impact is undeniable. Loneliness is on the rise, and frustration is mounting among women. Stay tuned as we break down what's behind this growing divide in modern relationships.
Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe so we can continue to make more content. Now let's dive in.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore, don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just a tiny.
Wait, what? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wait, what? Absolutely not. just a little bit more. Number one, wait a minute. Men aren't men anymore and they're not approaching. Ma'am, it's called egalitarianism. It's called equality. We don't do that anymore. Y'all got what y'all wanted. Y'all just didn't read the fine print. Huh? I set it to FD signifier. And is Mr. Z going to go on to the full extent? Yes, at least rhetorically I will. I set it to him. When y'all start pressing the women with what equality look like for real, watch them start crumbling. See, everybody want to play that game where we got to take away from the men. No, men, you can't do that anymore. You can't expect that anymore. You can't do that anymore, right? Hey, lower the bass in your voice. Speak like this. Huh? Nod your head in agreement. You're man spreading. Close your legs like a yitch. Huh? But the second we start telling women what equality look like, look at them crumbling. The men aren't men anymore. Last time I checked, we ain't really doing that. Oh no, we live in an equal world. You can approach. You saw him first. Even if he saw you first. You saw him first. You find him attractive. Why don't you approach? That rejection. The fear of rejection. Yeah. And if y'all think men can't take rejection, it crushes women. Huh? No, that's a real thing, by the way. Trell. And Trell says, sit down when you piss. That's a real thing. When you urinate. As a matter of fact, that was a what was I was watching a segment. I want to say was it on BBC? And they were speaking about the kids in Norway? It was one of the countries in Northern Europe. Anyway, it was speaking about like teaching them teaching the boys to sit down when they urinate. All jokes aside. Because it's better, there's less splash, they don't have to clean the toilets the same way, etc., etc., etc. If I remember correctly, because I watched this over a decade ago, maybe. Huh? No, that's a real thing, Terrell. That's a real thing. No? It's better when with the men like you just a little bit more. Explain that divorce rate. The men did, and still to this day, for the most part, do pursue the women. And explain that divorce rate. The fact that women file for between 70 and 80% of divorces. Women initiate like 90% of breakups. With the men that like them a little bit more, that that love them a whole lot more. Because we raised a few generations of mercenary women, or women were always mercenaries, and because of the system we live in, the system encouraged y'all to ratchet it up to 11, break the damn knob. It's better when the men like you just a little bit more. You mean so that we can have more mercenary women? Yeah. What drugs? This is I'm telling y'all they on them pills. You got to be on something. Huh? So let's continue. Let's see if we can actually play this and Mr. Z doesn't interrupt. Here we go.
Welcome to today's episode. In this video, we dive into a startling trend. 67% of men are walking away from dating, and the impact is undeniable. Loneliness is on the rise, and frustration is mounting among women. Stay tuned as we break down what's behind this growing divide in modern relationships.
Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe so we can continue to make more content. Now let's dive in.
What What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore, don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first. Like, that is the whole downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone now. Because men just don't care anymore.
Everything she's talking about, we already know where it went. But we keep hearing the same line over and over again. And the reason why they like to leave out where it went is because they enjoy the power that they get from where it went. Modern womanism and the independence that goes along with it came in, and then the old chivalry went out the door.
Exactly.
You can't have both of them at the same time. This is where they
Here
set
you go.
themselves crazy. The patriarchal family-orientated man that was raised by two parents that was willing to court and pursue you, he is not around because you got rid of him. The empowerment brought into hookup culture. Meeting is now monetized. Courting is out the window. Hookup culture's taken over. She mentioned her father and her uncle, but there was an end to their means. They were family orientated. She is not going to be, because if she were, she would already know the answers, and she would be trying to make a difference right along with us here on these platforms. Instead of admitting the motives of the modern female is to achieve material success, ladder climbing, career chasing, and not family building. What her dad and uncle did was court females for the purpose of having a family and not divorce. Modern females have been taught that marriage is bad, and the idea of courting for the purpose of marriage has been thrown out the window.
I don't get dating nowadays. This is the largest group of butthurt, bitter pen pals I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absurd. Like, you'll establish mutual interest with somebody, exchange numbers, and then you want to good morning me beautiful until my head is ready to explode. Like, I don't know about y'all, but my attention span is not something to play with. You've got 2 or 3
Maybe
weeks
you should be making his head explode
and FaceTiming before I expect you in person. All right? This isn't summer camp. Let's keep in touch. No. I want to feel the weight of a man's bone. Can't say it, it's TikTok, but you guys, you get what I'm saying. Like, we need to establish real life chemistry. I'm not going to keep talking to you, talking about I miss you. I don't know how. We've never met.
Horny
Or
much?
if you miss me, why aren't you in front of me? Like, what's the issue here? Why aren't you making a move? Lock it in, buddy. Are you short? Do you smell? Are you poor? You can't afford a date? We can go to a park. Like, are you married? What is the issue? Because now you acting sus, and I lose interest on suspect people. Like, what? Lock it in.
The yelling and screaming into the camera is completely uncalled for. This approach makes it seem like she's trying to be funny, but it comes off as rude and abrasive, which is probably why the men are keeping their distance. That's the sound you're going to hear in the kitchen if you hit a rough patch, and it looks like she enjoys it. She likes how she sounds right here, gentlemen. Another thing I noticed is that during her imaginary list of insults disguised as reasons, she didn't mention that the men she's addressing may not fully trust her or find her genuine, which is why they proceed with caution. Overall, 1 in 4 women is on medication. We don't trust you. Shout out to Future. And that may be a key factor in why more men are being cautious, along with another large group of men she simply doesn't have access to.
These are all things that my ex did to me while we were dating that I always brushed past. If every time you want to communicate something that hurts your feelings or something that's going on within the relationship that you just want to talk about, if he says that you're just trying to fight with him, that shit is so draining, and I just want to let you know that shit never stops. If he threatens to leave or break up with you all the time, it's not even really the fact that he actually doesn't want to be with you, it's the fact that he's just trying to get you scared. He's trying to control and manipulate you. Annoying. If your man ever watches you cry and then doesn't feel bad at all or even laughs or just doesn't care in general, weird. Leave. My boyfriend literally broke up with me because me and him and all of our friends, we went out to go eat at this breakfast place and I ordered French toast. He literally got mad at me for that, said, what did you get? Bread, and then broke up with me. Bread, and then broke up with me. Bread, and then broke up with me in the car on the way home. One time I laughed in front of my boyfriend and I was having a genuinely really good time with him, and then he called me ugly. And like, he wasn't joking. He said, and I quote, he said, you can be so ugly sometimes, right after I was like laughing.
Once again, we see the addiction to toxicity, followed by complaints after the relationship dissolves. The things she outlined are basic common sense. An 8-year-old would have already understood what she just said. What we have here is a useless exchange of basic information stretched into a long makeup video. The number of curse words I edited out is a testament to the quality of the content. I also believe she enjoys this type of drama, the toxic exchanges and the breakups, because they give her a reason to complain. Her need for indignation is satisfied. Being dumped for eating too many carbs seems extreme. But what she doesn't understand is that men can sense when someone is self-absorbed and narcissistic, and they will ultimately attack the ego relentlessly. By her own description, that's exactly what happened. He kept the pressure on, assuming control by constantly attacking her biggest weakness, her self-admiration. We can see this through the content she provides, the makeup layers, the posing, the lighting setup, all to complain about the obvious. This group will continue to harm themselves while claiming they've learned, yet they repeat the same pattern over and over again.
I matched this guy on Tinder a week and a half ago, and we basically settled on today, which is Sunday, 4 o'clock, and Top Golf is about an hour's drive away from where we both live. Last messages were exchanged yesterday. My last response to him was at 8:30 last night, and he hadn't read it, and I still hadn't heard from him from about midday, 1 o'clock, and I thought, right, I'll grab some lunch, I'll get ready, but I'll get half ready because I've just got a sneaky suspicion that he's going to bail. I'm just really confused. Like, we've literally been talking for like a week and a half. He suggested it. The chat's been really good. I've taken a break. I just came off dating apps, and this was like the first one out of the gate, and this happens. It's just really terrible behaviour. If you've changed your mind or something's cropped up, just let someone know, because I've literally been waiting around for most of the afternoon.
Does she not know what's going on worldwide with the dating apps? I mean, the information is all over the internet. Everybody knows that the dating apps are a cesspool. That's been known. It's a pile of damaged people who use another damaged people for a joke. She gets on there, gets hopeful. You think you're going to get something. It's used for entertainment. They're made to fail, and this is the ultimate outcome. It's the home to situationships, hookups, failed dates, ghosting. All of it sits in them dating apps. On top of that, it's skewed in women's favor, and you still can't score? I'd have to say she ain't doing too well.
It's looking bad. It's cold outside, everybody. Listen to them. Listen to them cracking. It's cold outside. They getting ghosted. Oh boy, y'all all huddling on the same dude, so y'all getting ghosted. It's cold outside, huh? It's freezing even for the white women, dear black women. White women aren't told to settle, huh? The white women are out here freezing too. They out here walking through the blizzard too. Not as much as you, huh? The white women and the Latinas are out here in the cold too, huh? We already know black women are outside burr, huh? We know they out here like Gucci man, right? White women, black women, Latina women, even some Asian women, but not really Asian women. Asian women been left y'all. Y'all all outside.
We are same, but different, but still same.
Huh? Yeah, it's cold outside, ladies. It's cold outside. Shout out to all the women who think you're old. Somebody asking you out. Someone courting you, dating you. Huh? Shout out to all you ladies. No, y'all, dear ladies, you wanted equality, you got it. Mr. Z knows this is not what you thought you signed up for. No, you wanted equality, you got it. Huh? And now, as the dating landscape just became a bit more open for, particularly for us as black men, now the black women sound like
I'd be
what?
lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel
Uh-oh. That's how the black women sound. The white women just complaining because, well, they're white women and they're, quote unquote, at the top of the female hierarchy. Asian women giving them a run for their money, though. Huh? Oh, ladies. Oh. Huh? Really? Black men are yawning. Huh? Because you ladies told us y'all were amazing and beautiful and compassionate and queens, and y'all were, aspiring and brilliant. Yeah, that's what y'all said. Inspiring, aspiring, brilliant. Y'all were perfect. Why do you need men? Why do you want men? Other than to use him as a goddamn handbag for your insatiable ego. Y'all should be good. That, guys are ghosting y'all. So what? It doesn't matter, right? You're good. What Cam said, Negroes get shot every day, B. You'll be all right. Ladies, people get ghosted every day. People get used as foodie calls every day. Men get used as foodie calls every day. No? Men get stood up every day. You'll be all right. Huh? You'll be all right. Let's see if we can get through some of these super chats. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Let's see. As a matter of fact, Vince's super chat. And Vince's, and thank you for the super chat, Vince. I know I'm late to it. And Vince is being myopic and arrogant at the same time have a price. Say that. Having bad counsel also has a price. You said have a price, but also has a price. Hashtag you gonna pay what you owe, Santa. I'll play it for you. I got you. Right. Hashtag you. Hey, it got a price, and you know what I'm gonna have to also put in my repertoire, the dude from Martin, the white heavyset white dude from Martin. It's gonna cost you. It may cost you a little. It may cost you a lot, but it's gonna cost you. And here you go, Vince.
You gonna pay what you owe, Santa?
Dear ladies, let's read Vince's comment again. Vince is being myopic and arrogant at the same time has a price. Having bad counsel also has a price. And hashtag you gonna pay what you owe. And dear ladies,
you gonna pay what you owe, Santa?
just saying, right? That's what it is. But here's the problem, though, Vince. While men are saying you gonna pay what you owe, and it's frigid outside, it's a blizzard outside. Guess how the ladies are now responding?
So we don't have the capacity.
Huh? And thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that super chat. Right? Man, it ain't looking good, ladies. It ain't looking good. It's cold outside. Huh? It is freezing outside. It's a blizzard. It's a blizzard. America is going through its own austerity measures. It ain't looking good, ladies. It ain't looking good. And here go the other part, and let's see if we can get through this without Mr. Z pausing too much. I don't know about that, but let's see.
I feel so lonely, and I want a boyfriend or a partner or husband or whatever so badly, but I.
Well, yeah. Look. I can't even keep true to myself. Apparently, she said partner. Everyone. She said whatever. I want a husband, a boyfriend, a partner, or whatever. Man, they're not the same thing, man. They're not the same thing. You said partner. Are we talking LGBTQ stuff? I mean, if you're talking LGBTQ stuff, I don't know how the white men work. But over here in Blackistan and Blacklandia, in the black community, in Blacksville, when you say partner, at least in the black manosphere, we hear LGBTQ, ma'am. Is that what you into? Huh? I mean, if that's what you about, that's what you about. But they're not the same thing. You said partner, ma'am. You said husband, boyfriend, partner. It's not the same thing. What are you talking about? Huh? A split gym. I said this the other day, and let's read this one now. A split gym says, all these white women having issues. Where are these black women finding these white dudes at? Look, I said this the other day. Look, let me get this right. Black women are getting a better white man than white women are Because according to black women, black men are these loser bum, dusty, broke, uneducated, like absolutely disgusting, toxic things, not even human beings, things. Let certain black women tell it. And the white man is better, and the Latino man is better, and any man is better. The Asian man is better, any man is better. Let black women tell it, particularly the ones on the internet and social media, the chronically online folks. But then right now we're seeing video after video after video after video after video after video of white women complaining about the same white men that black women say are better and that they can actually have a relationship with. Huh? Something ain't right. The math ain't mathing. Huh? Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying, because based off the numbers, white men ain't checking for black women like that. Oh yeah, but you forgot, Z. First of all, Z, these women ain't checking the statistics. Huh? Secondly, these women aren't doing the math.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
And third, it's because of their loyalty. Don't you know, Z? It's their loyalty. This has nothing to do with whether white men are interested in black women or not. This has to do with black women being too loyal to black men. As a Split Jim said, all these white women having issues, where these black women finding these white dudes. Don't you know, a Split Jim? Black women are getting better white guys than white women are. Uh-oh. Once again, white women aren't getting the caliber of white man that black women are. Black women are getting the best white man. This old ass trope that even some black men believe, right? That when white men get them a black woman, they get them the baddest black woman. Ain't that what Eddie Griffin told us? And when black women date and marry out, it's because they tried so hard with black men, and black men just kept on letting them down. Black men were too colorist and too featurist. Black men weren't educated enough. Black men weren't sophisticated enough. Right? Too many black men that were secretly gay. That's what we're told. And so when a black woman date out, she gets her the best white man. That's what we're told. But white women are complaining about those same men. Somebody's lying. As I said before, Split Jim, black women, Latina women, Asian women, white women, y'all got to sit down. Indigenous women, all the women of the world, y'all got to sit down and get y'all lives together. There's too many conflicting lies and truth going on here. Y'all got to get y'all lives together. Huh? Split Jim, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? And let me read this one now. And Bruce on Wayne says, no reckless panel today. Yeah, I'm gonna bring y'all up in 1 second. Let's see if we can make it through this this video. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see if Mr. Z can actually make it through. I'm gonna play it again. We gotta play it through it. And Split Jim. Let me read this super chat right now. And thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Split Jim says, partner, I think you told, excuse me, I told you my ex said that ish. Okay, so let's read that again because Mr. Z was fumbling and bumbling. And a Split Jim says, partner, I think I told you my ex said that ish. Look, that partner stuff, and I think you did, Split Jim, that partner stuff is just nauseating. And the women are using it because they hear other women, they hear more educated women using it. But that's LGBTQ language. They're using it, once again, in their minds because they want to be more inclusive. They don't want to say husbands and boyfriends because they don't want for non-LGBTQ folks to feel quote unquote excluded from these conversations. So they say partner because this is more inclusive word. Listen, ladies, if you're not munching on vagina, you better say husband, boyfriend, man, if you're not munching on vagina, why? Because black men demand it. That's why. You could always go end up munching on vagina, huh? You could always do that, or you could go end up with the white man if you don't want to use the language we telling you to use. I said it the way I meant it. You could always try it with those more quote unquote liberal and progressive white men. Huh? That partner language, yawn. Huh? That partner language. And a split gym, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And you get one of these. Right? Partner. Anyway, we and I did not forget about you, KMS, and the others, Grinch and whatnot. Did not forget about you guys. I did not forget about you guys. And let's see if we can actually finish this.
I feel so lonely and I want a boyfriend or a partner or husband or whatever so badly, but I just desire love so strongly, and it's such a passionate, deep, strong feeling inside of each of us, or at least specifically myself, yet it's so hard for me at least to express it in words, the feeling. It just feels like, I want to say emptiness, but that is wrong, because I used to always look for a man to fill the emptiness inside of me. And after many, many years of looking for men to fill that emptiness in me, I realized that the only one who could fill that emptiness was God. But the desire for a boyfriend or husband or whatnot is so strong inside of me. And I always try to not fight it, but kind of, because I know that the reason why I am not with someone right now is because it's not the right time, and God.
So I'm not trying to make fun of this lady here. It looks like she's going through some depression, anxiety. There can be a lot of things going on. When I looked at the rest of the page, there was a lot of crying, a lot of complaining, a lot of victim speech and self-hatred, eating the biggest of McDonald's hamburgers, a lot of feeling sorry for herself, flat out crying on tape. When you make bad decisions in your past, that stuff comes back to haunt you. Nobody want to talk about that. The first thing a baby does fresh out the womb is fresh out the womb. We all do it. But when you cry as an adult, when things ain't going your way, they got to be pretty bad. Now, they did a little research on the woman on a couple other sites, and they come to find out that she was escorted when she was younger. She kind of omits that. When they say we never had a boyfriend, they don't say the other things that they were doing. They kind of leave out the dark parts, and it keeps them in victim speech. Like I said, I don't want to make fun of somebody that's pessimistic and having a hard go, but I do want to make note that you piss in the bed, you got to lay in it. When you make bad decisions, you suffer the bad anxiety. Let's continue.
Do not be worried if you're 38 and single. Do not be worried if you're 48 and single.
She's going to be cloping this whole video, you guys. Listen.
Do not let society tell you that you are old when you are 38. I am 38. I'm single. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. After a night out, I would hate going home to an empty house, so I would just go after party. If something was no longer serving me in a relationship, I'd cling to it, hang on to it longer, thinking that I can just make this work. If something would end, I would jump back on the dating apps and I'd be like, oh my God, I need to find a date. And that would make me end up feeling worse, because I'm very choosy on who I spend my time with. So I'd go on lots of first dates, not like anyone, and then think that it was hopeless. I got into some pretty deep therapy from 36 to 37. I went to 2 different retreats at the Meadows. I worked with a therapist. I was with someone that went through sobriety. All the therapy really leveled me out. Once I turned 38, the clock ticking has just dissipated. Such a nice place to be in. At the end of the day, I'm not old. I have the rest of my life to find and spend with someone. Yeah, I have never had a burning desire to be a mom. I'd like to have that opportunity with the correct person. I froze my eggs when I was 32 because I was so invested in my career that I knew that was probably a good idea. I would love to meet someone that would make an amazing father. And I'm also coming to terms with the idea of maybe what my life would look like if that doesn't happen for me. And I wish that I had wrapped my head around that years prior. Now, you're someone that absolutely knows that motherhood is in your future. Do not let that dream die. Figure out a way to make it happen, and it'll happen. For me, that just wasn't my number one priority. And that's clear by the decisions I've made in my life. So if you're in your 20s or in your 30s or even in your 40s and you're feeling like everyone else has it together and you're lacking and you're scared, I hope looking at me and my life and my mentality can give you just a little bit of peace.
If you notice, I do a lot of loneliness videos,
Bruh, I had to pause it right there. Sorry, you guys, we're gonna have to restart it. Y'all already know how this goes. This is super cope. This is copium to the max. This, as I said, y'all listening to these people, and this is a white woman. Y'all listening to these people are going to walk you off the edge of the cliff into a lifetime of antidepressant pills, huh? And coping, right? A lifetime of antidepressant pills, your Rose toy, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, etc., etc. Lifetime movies, girls trips by yourself sometimes. What? What? How's a girls trip by herself? Huh? So what men would say is to get your ish together. Mr. Z is 38 also. We're old. We're not old, we're old. What are you talking about, lady? Once again, this is not only is she a woman, she a white woman. She ain't gonna come to terms with the reality. If she did, she'll goddamn practice and puka on herself. She'll self-delete. This is copium. This is why they're old and miserable. This is what happens. They cope and they cope and they cope and they cope until life smacks them in the face with reality and they can't lie to themselves no more. All of this for her ego and for other women like her and younger, definitely older, in their ego. You know what a man would say? Hey, get your ish together. As toxic as some of these hustle bros are and whatnot, everybody's telling men, get your ish together. If you feel insecure about this, then you got to work on that. If you feel insecure about this, you got to work on that. If you feel insecure about that, you got to work on this. Right? That's what men tell other men. White, black, Latino, Asian, definitely black men, definitely for us. As toxic as some of these other guys are, they never tell you, no, they're there. There's nothing to worry about. You're okay. You're moving at your own pace, in your own time. This is why Armio say Frimpong, shout out to the funky academic, said he keep his daughters away from these type of women. Huh? Toxic ass crap. All of that for your goddamn, I worked on my career and I did this and I did that, and I did therapy and that. And I'm just going to have to come to terms with, translation, I've resigned myself to maybe never having children or getting married because I'm insufferable and I'm not going to change it. Huh? And I'm not going to change it. Huh? Can't mess it. Toxic self-improvement, but self-improvement. Huh? Say that. Let me see if I got something for that. I got something for that.
He's right, you know.
Huh? Yawn. Listen to that. You, once again, I said it. These people, they walked y'all onto off the edge of the cliff. All of this, not to sound what? A bit morbid, a bit bleak, to light a fire up these women's ass? Huh? To not sound a bit sobering? So instead of that, instead of giving them some urgency, I don't want them to panic. I want them to decenter men. I don't want them to panic. I don't want them to focus on men. I don't want them to center men. So you would rather lie to them about 38 being old? Ma'am, you are 3 years into geriatric pregnancy. You're old. Yeah, you froze your eggs. Yeah, but you're old, ma'am. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she said, did she say she froze her eggs at 38? Or she said she's 38? I think she said she's 38. Huh? Huh? We're old, ma'am. I'm 38 also. We're old. We're not senior citizens, but we're old. All of this coping. Dear black women, y'all keep on listening to these white women. These white women will turn around tomorrow, meet a white man that's okay-ish, a white man that's good enough. She'll psych herself out, marry him, Maybe marry him for a lifetime, probably not. But at least get a good 10, 12 years out the deal. Meanwhile, you're going to be out here, well, looking like Vivica A. Fox or Ebony K. Williams. Ugh. Huh? Oh, and Leon said she froze her eggs at 32. Okay, right? Wow. Okay, let's see if Mr. Z can make it this time. We'll get to y'all super chats in a minute. Let's see if we can make it.
I feel so lonely and I want a boyfriend or a partner or husband or whatever so badly, but I just desire love so strongly, and it's such a passionate, deep, strong feeling inside of each of us, or at least specifically myself, yet it's so hard for me at least to express it in words, the feeling. It just feels like, I want to say emptiness, but that is wrong because I used to always look for a man to fill the emptiness inside of me. And after many, many years of looking for men to fill the emptiness in me, I realized that the only one who could fill that emptiness was God. But the desire for a boyfriend or husband or whatnot is so strong inside of me. And I always try to not fight it, but kind of.
Giggity again.
I know that the reason why I am not with someone right now is because it's not the right time, and God.
So I'm not trying to make fun of this lady here. It looks like she's going through some depression, anxiety. There can be a lot of things going on. When I looked at the rest of the page, there was a lot of crying, a lot of complaining, a lot of victim speech and self-hatred, eating the biggest of McDonald's hamburgers, a lot of feeling sorry for herself, flat out crying on tape. When you make bad decisions in your past, that stuff comes back to haunt you. Nobody want to talk about that. The first thing a baby does fresh out the womb is fresh out the womb. We all do it. But when you cry as an adult, when things ain't going your way, they got to be pretty bad. Now, they did a little research on the woman on a couple other sites, and they come to find out that she was escorted when she was younger. She kind of omits that. When they say we never had a boyfriend, they don't say the other things that they were doing. They kind of leave out the dark parts, and it keeps them in victim speech. Like I said, I don't want to make fun of somebody that's pessimistic and having a hard go, but I do want to make note that you piss in the bed, you got to lay in it. When you make bad decisions, you suffer the bad anxiety. Let's continue.
Do not be worried if you're 38 and single. Do not be worried if you're 48 and single. Do not be worried if you're 28 and single. Do not let society tell you that you are old when you are 38. I am 38. I'm single. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. After a night out, I would hate going home to an empty house, so I would just go after party. If something was no longer serving me in a relationship, I'd cling to it, hang on to it longer, thinking that I can just make.
I feel so lonely and I want a boyfriend or a partner or husband or whatever so badly, but I just desire love so strongly, and it's such a passionate, deep, strong feeling inside of each of us, or at least specifically myself, yet it's so hard for me at least to express it in words, the feeling. It just feels like, I want to say emptiness, but that is wrong because I used to always look for a man to fill the emptiness inside of me, and after many, many years of looking for men to fill that emptiness in me, I realized that the only one who could fill that emptiness was God.
Technical difficulties,
but
it's my
the
fault.
desire for a boyfriend or husband or whatnot is so strong inside of me, and I always try to not fight it, but kind of, because I know that the reason why I am not with someone right now is because it's not the right time, and God.
So I'm not trying to make fun of this lady here. It looks like she's going through some depression, anxiety. There can be a lot of things going on. When I looked at the rest of the page, there was a lot of crying, a lot of complaining, a lot of victim speech and self-hatred, eating the biggest of McDonald's hamburgers, a lot of feeling sorry for herself, flat out crying on tape. When you make bad decisions in your past, that stuff comes back to haunt you. Nobody want to talk about that. The first thing a baby does fresh out the womb is fresh out the womb. We all do it. But when you cry as an adult, when things ain't going your way, they got to be pretty bad. Now, they did a little research on the woman on a couple other sites, and they come to find out that she was escorted when she was younger. She kind of omits that. When they say we never had a boyfriend, they don't say the other things that they were doing. They kind of leave out the dark parts, and it keeps them in victim speech. Like I said, I don't want to make fun of somebody that's pessimistic and having a hard go, but I do want to make note that you piss in the bed, you got to lay in it. When you make bad decisions, you suffer the bad anxiety. Let's continue.
Do not be worried if you're 38 and single. Do not be worried if you're 48 and single. Do not be worried if you're 28 and single. Do not let society tell you that you are old when you are 38. I am 38. I'm single. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. After a night out, I would hate going home to an empty house, so I would just go after party. If something was no longer serving me in a relationship, I'd cling to it, hang on to it longer, thinking that I can just make this work. If something would end, I would jump back on the dating apps and I'd be like, oh my God, I need to find a date. And that would make me end up feeling worse because I'm very choosy on who I spend my time with. So I go on lots of first dates, not like anyone, and then think that it was hopeless. I got into some like pretty deep therapy from 36 to 37. I went to 2 different retreats at the Meadows. I worked with a therapist. I was with someone that went through sobriety. All the therapy like really leveled me out. Once I turned 38, the clock ticking has just dissipated. Such a nice place to be in. At the end of the day, I'm not old. I have the rest of my life to find and spend with someone. Yeah, I have never like had a burning desire to be a mom. I'd like to have that opportunity with the correct person. I froze my eggs when I was 32 because I was so invested in my career that I knew that was probably a good idea. I would love to meet someone that would make an amazing father. And I'm also coming to terms with the idea of maybe what my life would look like if that doesn't happen for me. And I wish that I had wrapped my head around that years prior. Now you're someone that absolutely knows that motherhood is in your future. Do not let that dream die. Figure out a way to make it happen, and it'll happen. For me, you know, that just wasn't my number one priority. And that's clear by the decisions I've made in my life. So if you're in your 20s or in your 30s or even in your 40s and you're feeling like everyone else has it together and you're lacking and you're scared, I hope like looking at me and my life and my mentality can give you just a little bit of peace.
If you notice, I do a lot of loneliness videos, loneliness of women. And it's just because of the way they handle it and the way they actually speak about it. And it's not being in solitude that I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about loneliness. And this is by their description and their need to talk about it. So one thing I got to call out right off the jump is her perception of time. If you multiply 38 times 2, it puts her at 76. You are middle-aged. That's it. There is no other magic number. That's the math. 38 times 2 puts you at middle age, period. Her time perception is way off. Anything that she does that's weird, needy, promiscuous, toxic, having a breakup with her boyfriend and immediately running out and dating people, the codependency, dating behaviors, coping online every time something don't work. She describes these behaviors as if they were a time in the past when literally they just happened like last week, last month, the month before that, they're now. They're not before. So she can do something stupid 24 hours ago and then describe that behavior yesterday as an old version of herself today. So today she's brand new. See, what the Lexapro does, it makes you feel good and it feels like you have a new turn on life. So she gets the camera out and walks in the park because that looks like a healthy thing to do, and then get to ramble in the mouth about stuff that you just did. You did not change yet. You're running off the training wheels. You got something in your system that's making you feel good temporarily, and then it's going to wear off. You can't talk yourself into greatness overnight. It takes repeated behavior for long periods of time. You can't keep slipping and going back to the same behaviors like she has on her own TikToks. Don't shoot me. I'm just looking at the TikTok videos. I'm saying, oh, look, she's doing it again. Oh, wait, she was dating all them different people while she had a boyfriend. She just said that she got out of a 2-year relationship. So what are all these dates here? Oh, okay. So every time they break up, she runs out and dates somebody. And this is literally a couple months ago. When did you change? Can't talk this overnight. They present themselves as a form of greatness, virtue signaling, admit to things as if they're a long time ago, but don't give you the dates. They just happen. So you're still the same person. And guys are watching out for that. And that's why a lot of men are walking away, because they don't trust this. It's not intimidation. It's the deceit that can spill over and start to infect your day to day. Let's continue.
I am so tired of feeling like it's never gonna be my turn to find love, and I know that someone out there knows what I mean right now. Like, I know I'm overreacting to this specific incident, but this is like the 4th time this has happened since I re-downloaded the dating apps earlier this month and decided, you know what, I'm an adult. I'm gonna try and get like an adult relationship and actually do dating for once. So we match, we talk for a while, we plan the date, right? We can't do that day, we move the date to this day, totally fine. I go, how about 5:30? Reasonable time. Let's actually get dinner. Like, let's commit to this. This seems promising. He goes, okay. Then he texts me and goes, can we actually do 6:30? Because I have a meeting. It's going to run a little long. I'll be able to do 6:30 instead. And I said, that's a little bit annoying because it's a tad bit late. I'm going to be starving, but that's fine. So today's the day, right? 5:45 rolls around. I've just finished doing my hair and makeup, and I get another text from him going, hey, I'm running late again. Could it be possible that we move the date to 7 again? So I text all my friends, both guys and girls, just to make sure I'm not crazy, and go, do I allow this? And they go, no. Moving it once, maybe. Twice, that's where I would have stopped it. But a 3rd time? Absolutely not. I'm starving at this point, and that's just disrespectful of my time. Almost 4 or 5 dates now since I re-downloaded the apps. Almost every single time, this is exactly what keeps happening. They keep pushing the date back until I just have to say, hey, I'm not going anymore. Because that's disrespectful of my time and me as a person. And like, I know this isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it especially feels like it really digs into that childhood wound of like, no one's ever gonna love you. You're never gonna find anyone who loves and respects you. And it's like, why does this keep happening? I'm exhausted. It feels like there's absolutely no end in sight. Everyone on this planet deserves someone who respects them and their time and treats them well. And I'm not even asking people to like move mountains for me anymore at this point. It feels crazy. Like, these boys and dating are genuinely starting to make me feel crazy.
And this is a perfect time to read this comment again. Shout out to KMS. And he says, and I'm not poking fun at her. But I think this is a sentiment that a lot of women, white, black, Latina, maybe even some Asian women feel. But I think this is time to read this once again. Shout out to KMS. This would be heartbreaking if they weren't such a-holes about everything. And there you go. You hear her voice cracking. You can hear her, the emotion swelling up in here. You hear it. It's sad. But it's cold outside. Dear black women, it's cold outside. Dear white women, it's cold outside. Dear Latinas, it's cold outside. Dear Asian women, it's cold outside. Huh? It's cold outside. It's pretty sad. Huh? Oh man. That's sad. And I guess I'll read this one now. And KMS said earlier, black women are the only women who have the nerve to complain why men aren't willing to be the man and the woman in the relationship. Wait, I got to be the provider, protector, polite, personable, and pretty? Well, Yitch, what do you do? Sir, if you don't realize who they are, wait. As a matter of fact, let's move this down so that you can read it. And black women are everything. They're beautiful, they're strong, they're confident, they're aspiring, they're bold, they're ambitious, they're sexy, they're determined, they're brilliant. What does she do? She just exists. But she's all it is. She's fierce. She's proud. Say it again, Z. Right? Audacious, bold, all of it. What does she do? She exists. You're just here to entertain her. Huh? She exists. And shout out to KMS. Shout out to KMS. But that last young lady, that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Right? Oh man. And let's do this. Did I read this earlier? Yeah, I did. I did read that. Let me see. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing Grinch. And Grinch is Donkey Babble. Donkey Babble. Look. I don't know if this is Donkey Babble. Let me play it again, because this is pretty much everything hinges on this. I've referred to this at I don't know how many times over the past year, maybe, or however long when she first posted it. But I don't know if this is Donkey Babble. This is sad, actually. And Grinch, let's see, because this is what everything hinges on. I know you're probably referring to something else, but everything I'm covering right now, for the most part, is based on.
I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like.
Huh? That and the white young lady at the end that I played earlier that was tearing up and crying. I've referenced her too before. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good, right? Okay, I see you. And KMS says, Psychics had a great point. In my humble opinion, modern women haven't failed at their personal relationship. They failed at their career and are scrambling for a man to buttress the failures of their single lives. Woo! Fire. That is, look, first.
He's right, you know.
Secondly, somebody's doing the math.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Third, the men are not going to do it for free. Huh? Fourth, what Psychic says makes perfect sense. In other words, the women don't have the capacity.
So we don't have the capacity.
Uh-oh. Huh? Yikes. Huh? In other words, the women are sounding like Rosie Rosario.
When the came up to the girl in high school, she was like, no, I don't want you. And then once she became a baby mama, he was a CEO, executive, and all that. And she's like, hey, you remember me? He said, no, I don't want you. I be feeling like, respectfully, y'all is the grown-up versions of the niggas that got hurt in high school while we was out fucking with the drug dealers. Let me tell you something. We were victims then making horrible ass decisions with grown ass niggas preying on us. Y'all gotta let that shit go.
Yawn.
What about the girls who had
Huh? Y'all gotta let that ish go. Actually. Huh? So I think Psychex is 100% correct, actually. KMS, I think Psychex is 150% correct. If that's what he said, I think he's right. I think he's right. And for that, you get one of these. Actually, let's do this. Thank you for the super chat, KMS. Thank you for the super chat. Wow. Afro National said they're not even being quiet about it anymore. Y'all heard? Hey, that's why I said let them talk. Y'all heard what Rosie Rosario said, and it's the tone. What she said, even if it's facts, okay, let's say these dudes are still butthurt about who didn't want them in high school, which I disagree with. It's not high school; it's when we're adults. But fine, let's say it is that, and the problem is, and not only that, that's not even the real issue. The issue is when you say you got to let that ish go in the tone you used. First of all, your framing is that now it's their job to what? Take care of the women that gave them their butt to kiss when we were 17 and 18? When we were 16, 17, and 18? Those men don't owe those women that, those single mothers that. Go get it from your baby daddy then. Or your ex-husband. It's not an ex-husband, let's be honest. Let's be honest, it's not an ex-husband. Huh? Oof. They haven't failed, once again, and KMS reiterates it, they haven't failed at their relationships, they failed at their careers. They never had relationships to fail at. I'm going to be using this. Shout out to Psychax. I'm going to be using this. Huh? Exactly. As wait, where did that go? And D says, respectfully, exactly, respectfully. She said, respectfully, and then started to insult you by saying, what, you're not man enough for not taking on these single baby mamas? Yeah, that's it. Right? But I'm definitely gonna start using that Psychax comment. Right? And let's read this from Chef Butter Biscuits. And Chef Butter Biscuits says, the majority of women are gonna feel it, but I think the 89s and 92 octanes educated to bougie class of women will suffer the most. Y'all thoughts? I think depending on the circles they move in, they're gonna catch a couple of brothers slipping. They're gonna catch a couple of blue pill brothers slipping. It is what Kevin said earlier. As a matter of fact, let's play this back so that we rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, so y'all can get an idea of what this is another reason why I created this stream earlier. Rest in peace, Kevin, and what Kevin told us about winter is coming. Here y'all go. Hopefully it starts from the beginning.
How are you?
It's not going to start from the beginning.
Good. Thank you for showing that it's not just my system over here, because you can hear me just.
Okay, there we go. Now it's gonna start from the beginning. Here we go.
You guys have been living in a fantasy land. You think that it's not going to happen. You think there's going to be some kind of bailout. There's going to be something else. There's going to be nothing. People right now are being put on the streets in Dallas-Fort Worth. The constables are moving people out, putting their stuff on the front yard. You want to know what's coming, ladies? They're decriminalizing the oldest profession in the book. In New York City right now, the governor, the mayor said we're not going after people who are loitering the streets. So, like it or not, some parts of Manhattan, some parts of the 5 boroughs have been turned into right there in the streets. Go to World Star, you'll see the video yourself. Broad daylight, transactions happening on a stoplight. Guess what? That's New York. Guess where else it's about to come? California. States across the country, because why? There's not enough money to give to people. And if you're a woman and you have a regular job, you know, let's just look at it. If you were not an essential worker during the pandemic, you are at risk. I was in Neiman Marcus the day they shut the world down, and I had never seen panic like that before. And all those women's eyes, because many of them have been with that company for 15, 20 years. All they had done is retail. Neiman Marcus is on the verge of bankruptcy, and the only thing that saved Neiman Marcus was the pandemic. Those women over there know they are coming back. And when the world stops again, many of these 40-year-old women are not going to have a job to go to and have no skills in the environment. Ladies, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and when winter comes, it does not. And this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. 3 months. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world. The world, I have been studying this for the better part of 2 years. Look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? There are villages in Japan where people are outnumbered by freaking dolls. I'm not kidding. Japan is dying. An aging population and a group of people who are not dating. They're not dating. They're not marrying. They're not getting together. You know what it's called? Hikomori. Socially withdrawal. Socially withdrawal. These are
Hikikomori.
talking about men 45 and under. Same thing with women. Remember we talked about Kodo Koshi? People dying in their apartments. We talked about Singyu, leftover cake, leftover women. Ladies, it's here. Winter is coming. August will be it. August, when the schools open, the people who have not been working will be forced to go back to work because the children must be in school. The daycares that are left will be there. What are you going to do if you go and have a job and you've been downsized, you've been automated? How many people have been to a McDonald's recently? And you'll notice that most of the front register staff is gone. It's kiosks. The largest two employers in our community of black women are federal government and retail. Retail is dead. We have 26.4 square feet of retail space for every American. The next largest developed country has 6. We have 6 times too many retail spaces. This is why you're seeing dying malls across the country. And what's going on? Because so many women are not being told to think about their long term. This is coming as a surprise. This is why women in Korea are saying we need to, the society is not set up for single people. And what the society needs to do is re-engineer itself for singles. Bullshit. It's not going to happen. Basically, what women in Korea and Japan are hoping that single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives. Not going to happen.
So that was my way, kind of low key, of answering what Joe said on this super chat once again is, you said you can do bad all by yourself. You said you had options. You said you were the prize. The test determined. Right. And once again, Joe, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. The test determined that was a lie. Right. And that was my way of answering you. Right. And you get one of these. Right. Get one of these. Right. I'm gonna let you guys up in a minute. But yeah. Right. Oh, let me read this one now too. And L says they're wearing all the flammable material they need to keep warm this winter on their heads. You said flammable? Right. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Hysterical. You get one of these also. Wait a minute. There we go. That's what they're gonna do to keep warm. Right. I see your super chat. Leon, Guy Incognito, Afro National. I did not forget about y'all, but let me let some of y'all up. Give me 1 second so that we could do this. Give me a second. Just want to make sure I do this the right way. Okay, there y'all go. Right, and y'all gives you a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Bruce Owen Wayne, what's going on?
Tak pase, papa.
New bone.
Yeah, right, man.
He said, "What's going on? What's going on, pops?" But it when you say papa in Creole to a friend, it's different than in English. You're not calling him your daddy, right? So yeah, it's a different context. Hysterical. You know, you gotta explain it sometimes. Right?
Y'all better
Yeah, what's going on
understand
with
that
you? What's
I
going on,
can never
Lion?
be.
Right, what's going on, Vince?
Yo, what up?
Yo, what it
What's up?
do?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? But
I want,
let's let if you want to go ahead, Vince, and then we're gonna get Bruce on Wayne. But you
yeah,
you jumped the line. Go ahead.
because I'm throwing knees and elbows today, so I need to get mine off before everybody else get it. As it stands right now in the DMV, it's about to snow. Like it's literally about to snow, so it's real fitting for what you're saying. Stuff is going on, and I show a lot of appreciation for this space. Z, I hope you remember the first time we had a conversation and what that was about and how that was going and things like that. It fits. I like the fact that they're like what you're saying is very consistent. What's going on and all the research you're doing and everything you're doing kind of builds up to your main point. And it's a lot I think about when it comes to disposition of this particular space and stuff right here. But I think a lot of people kind of underscore, underemphasize where we at now and how this slow moving train that is like slowly tipping over is happening right now economically, and how how we emphasize the atomizing of and automating of our society, where it's going to be a point where this is something I wanted to bring up too, because we're talking about community and the importance of community and the importance of cooperative economics and all that other stuff. Like, when you think about cooperative economics, like, how can you really talk about like 50-50 and all that other bullshit, which I think is a bullshit conversation, in my opinion. But it's something that I looked up. I gotta find it real quick. It's about how we talk about how the opposite sex talk about want to be paid and compensated for being wives and doing all the domestic labor and stuff like that and everything. So y'all know I'm in grad school doing my thing, getting my liberal arts degree. But I'm getting my master's. I'm getting my master's.
You ain't no real man, Vince.
A real man fix problems.
A real man. If you ain't taking STEM, then what you doing, Vince?
Hey, psychology is STEM, okay? Yeah. So there's something that came across my board when I'm doing my research, and this is titled this concept called unpaid support networks. And what that consists of is families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and citizen advocates, right? So when we're talking about someone going to be paid for domestic labor, blah blah blah, room board, whatever. But all that stuff's never enough. But when we talk about the atomizing of things, we're talking about the evaporation of these things. We see in a lot of communities, how families and stuff like that is. One thing that came to mind is how the baby mother, baby father thing kind of evaporated the family system, because now you're talking about half families going over here, over there. We don't let them come to the Chuck E. Cheese party, or they don't come to the cookout. 2 weeks ago, I went to Fridays on a date, and there was a family there for kids, and there was Breaking Bad up in that joint.
Wow.
Breaking Bad up in that joint in front of the kids. No, my birthday, Grandma. Why is this happening? That's not what happened.
Well, I would say the thing with that, that's kind of low class stuff. The Breaking Bad in front of the kids, the lack of etiquette, the lack of composure, doing that in front of your children at a public. Yeah, well, that was before. The lack of discernment was before, but then the lack of in front of the kids in public, mind you. So it gets worse, right? Like there's levels to hell. Look, we understand that a lot of these people lack the discipline. They have their kids, then one of them feel another way about the other one moving on, and then they take that crap to wherever they are at Chuck E. Cheese. Apparently, that sound about right. That sound about right. But Vince, let me let Bruce on Wayne go so we can circle around. But
cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's going on, Bruce? What's going on, Line?
We're kicking it. It's Saturday. We're good.
It is Saturday. It is Saturday.
Yo, Z, don't you
Mr.
be
Z don't know what that look like. Mr. Z don't know what a Saturday look like off. But yeah.
Yo, Z,
Y'all let me know what that feel like. Go ahead.
You're grinding a little too hard, man.
Bro, all the time, all the time. But what was that you were saying, Line?
Z, don't be feeling bad for these hoes. You sitting there feeling sorry for that white girl. Don't you dare. Don't you dare feel sorry for that.
Hey, bro, her voice started cracking. I'm like, oh, no. there.
No, because I'm 100% sure there's some dude that she curved 2 weeks ago that didn't postpone the date, set the time, set the standard, and you ghosted them, or you went on the date and ghosted them.
Lion, you said this.
That frequently.
That's what you want.
Females have been talking on the internet because there'll be this one female crying, but then the very next day there'll be another female talking about another dude that they ghosted, or that's true. One dude she went on a date 1 week, and then she went on another date with a dude next week, ghosted one guy, and decide to keep one guy. No. Y'all been talking way too much for me.
I've been saying
Y'all been talking.
Women, y'all loud on the internet. Y'all are loud on the internet, ladies.
I've been talking way too much for you to feel any sympathy or apathy for y'all.
She said that it frequently happens to her.
Yeah, she did say that.
If that is true, then my analysis of that is that this is a woman who repeatedly reaches above her playing weight or whatever in the class of men. They make her their third or fourth option on a Tuesday or Thursday night. And because they usually succeed on their first or second choice, they, at the last moment, pull the plug on the deal.
Yikes.
If that frequently happens to her, and the tears suggest that frequently happens to her, that means she's a 5 who's constantly reaching for 8s. They're saying, okay, if the top 2 chicks don't work out, I'll go through there, swing through, get a BJ and leave. But they're successful on their first or second option, so they don't have any need to go by.
Yeah. AZ, you listen to
market though. That's the sexual marketplace. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the sexual marketplace.
You guys listen to Fabulous? He came out with that mix. What was the mixtape he came out with? One of the songs he said something like, a woman, I'm trying to remember the quote, a woman canceled because she has to, a man canceled because he has to. When he's talking about dates and stuff.
Yeah.
That's Uru, what you just said remind me that.
Yeah, if it frequently happens, that means she is constantly picking guys who consider her to be a low value option. And but you know how men are, you want to get some. So you'll pick her knowing that there's a strong possibility you're very comfortable with dumping her at the last moment.
But that reiterates my point about hypergamy. Hypergamy cannot be optimized unless the dude that you want says yes.
Yes, hypergamous failures.
Yeah, very, very few women are able to maximize their hypergamy. Even very few white women are even able to fully maximize their hypergamy.
But aren't women supposed to be able to do this because they're all the exception? They're all the exceptional? Of course, I'm being sarcastic, y'all.
Well, look, hypergamy is a function of your perception of options and opportunities. In prior generations, you didn't have these exaggerated views of what you were entitled to get. If you, in most of America, most of the world, were in small towns, a woman probably had really 4 or 5 viable options of men who were at or similar levels in terms of looks, in terms of earning capacity, social standing. So if she got one of those 4 guys, maybe if she's the better looking of the 4 guys, she has proportionally optimized her hypergamous opportunity based on her perspective of the world.
Let me say this real quick, Blackaroo. I might board, so if I board, AB got it. Okay, go ahead, Blackaroo.
Sure. But in a world in which you've been trained to think you're supposed to have every option or every man, every job opportunity, you're supposed to make a minimum of 7 figures, et cetera, whatever. Your hypergamous meter is way out of whack. And so very, very few women are going to get anywhere near the far, I guess, right inside of the hypergamous meter. Very few.
Yeah, because they didn't count, because the ones that they didn't count on, but what they didn't count on was that men's options expanded too.
Yeah, but even so, that's true. But the bottom line is, you look, we as well as we might do, if the expectation is for us to be Kryptonians, then they're going to be disappointed regardless.
Well, oh, that's life.
I kind of wanted to touch my brother getting the master's degree. You talked about the unpaid communal labor. And this is what I talked with Black Guru and BGS and the rest of them about. Like, when there was a social safety net and there's welfare, there's food stamps, there's jobs opportunities, what you saw was women distance themselves from the matriarchs and aunties and stuff. Because what takes place is if a chick can get her own place, she doesn't have to endure the opinion of her grandma talking about how she should be raising her child, how she should be changing diapers, how she should be doing this. And so that's the unpaid labor. That's the unpaid labor. So when she can go to her place and she can withhold the child from her husband and his mother, because moms understand that my son has less access to the kid by way I have less access to the kid. So when you have those social safety nets for women to behave how they want to, they take advantage of that unpaid labor, and then what it does is the unpaid labor style, you have to give up power and deal with the opinion of others. But when you have, like I said, when you have those,
what's one of the most corruptive elements to the issue that you described, Leon? The cheap and fairly ubiquitous daycare options. Daycare options have totally removed,
extremely
down that multi-generational dependence from mother to grandmother to great grandmother to great aunt, et cetera, whatever. Daycare broke all of that down.
And it's very myopic too, because when you think about it, that you okay. Let me cook real quick. Let me get like 2 minutes. See if I could make it brief, right? What happened is that when Charlie was able to get her own place, she was able to break bad and start to talk shit and say, "I don't need you. I don't need that." And the third, she didn't just say, "I don't need no man. I don't need nobody telling me what to do. I'm grown. I'm grown." That's where that came from. You can't tell me to do. I'm grown. I got my own. I can have my own. And that was part, in my opinion.
Yes.
That's part of it. But Shorty still had to get a job. She still had to do that. And so what happened is, when you established the daycare, then because she would still have to maintain those relationships with her mother or his mother, the aunts, the grandmothers, even if she got her own place, for her to earn a living, she would still have to maintain some viable relationships with these extended female family members. But when they established the daycare, and preschool and all of that, then that made less important those relationships.
And let me briefly say this real quick, because there's a downside.
Yes,
to that,
let me
to
touch
the
this before I go. Let me touch it before I go. Check it out. Check it out.
Let Leon go. Wait, y'all. Let Leon go, and then you got it, Vince. And then you got it. Go ahead, Leon.
Cool.
The main thing that you have to pay attention to is not, the main thing that you have to pay attention to, not only that, it changes the dynamic between the matriarchs, the grandmas, and the aunties with the girl, because now she's utilizing a power to go against their opinion. So I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. Then you withhold the child from them. And they treat it like a baby daddy pays child support. It's that acting like I want you to, I'm going to withhold this child from you. Because I have daycare, because I have this option. So it changes the whole power dynamic. It fucks up the hierarchy of even women.
No,
But I'm going to go in a row. Shout out to you, Black Guru.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming up, Leon. I mean, but Leon might be back. You know how he usually do it. And go ahead, Vince. Go ahead.
I want to respond to what he's saying, because there's a prognosis. One thing that we have to realize, the thing about how like science and even social science, what we're doing, we're creating a prognosis, right? So what's the prognosis between what he's saying with the daycare part and everything, right? That once you are able to start breaking bad and stuff like that, you start basically that's the age of dismantling community and stuff like that. There was another part I wanted to say, but I wanted to go to the downside of the daycare part. Y'all see in the news, like, it's people being like one of the things we know, right, is that, and there's an argument that I have that kind of advocates for, it's not all sunny side when women are left to their own devices. We're talking about domestic violence and stuff like that. Who's the biggest victim of domestic violence? It's children and people who are not able to advocate and defend themselves, not just women, because women is a population of that bit, more so the kids, unsupervised and everything like that. So I'm gonna come to like step parents, stepmothers, more so stepmothers than anything, because they neglect babies with needs and stuff like that because they don't have a sense of urgency with them. Now, what happens with daycare with women and stuff like that, but it's not their kids, they don't have a sense of urgency. What happens in their culture or the way they take care of children is different. So is daycare the best option? And when you're myopic, you only think about yourself and you think in the short term stuff like that. These kids come back, even when they go to public school, they don't always come home the same way either. So I wanted to, put that out there as well.
Who do I think is funny enough to read? Damn, Leon left. God damn, who's gonna read this and I think I'm gonna say it's funny? Lion, read this for me, please.
Hey, shout out to Terrell Bentley, but the $20 Z phone charger fund.
Look, I tried to look out for me and for y'all with that S25 Ultra with the 512 gig because I can't get the terabyte because I got to get it unlocked, but I want AT&T's damn security plan and all the other stuff because I'm gonna drop it. Yeah, Samsung, the S25 Ultra, and they don't even have the goddamn 512 in stock at the stores. You got to order it online. So hopefully by the end of next week we'll have better sound because I'm already gonna buy the dongle. I hate that term, it sounds LGBTQ as hell, but I'm gonna buy the dongle so I can have the actual wired headphones and my sound to come out clear again like it was before. But right now y'all gotta get tortured with the wireless headphones right now, and I gotta keep on switching ears so I can keep the headphone charged. Y'all already know how.
If you buy it online, they gotta ship it to you, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna take like 2 or 3 business days. I already talked to the people after I had to spam the goddamn 0 button a million times. Look, I'm old school with the automation. I like talking to a person. Dear AT&T, message. Okay.
Oh, good luck.
I hate the automated system. Jesus. Hey, go ahead, AB.
You shouldn't be with AT&T then, because most of that shit is automated. But anyway, regarding this subject, these chicks fucked around and found out they wanted equality. Be careful what you ask for. We're giving it to you. You independent. You don't need us. Fine.
Equal ain't easy.
Nope.
Ooh, put that in the book. I like the way that sounds.
The interesting thing about it, though, to achieve this level of chaos or flexibility that this equality, so-called we call equality, they've had to destroy their own feminine hierarchies.
Yep.
Where they can't, me and my girl was talking about this morning, where they can't really police themselves because it's so chaotic at this point. Well, empowerment.
I think that's what Leon was getting at too. But go ahead.
Yeah. Empowerment or autonomy by any means strip them of any social control amongst themselves.
Yeah.
But you cannot establish and maintain a hierarchy without the ability to proportionately punish and prohibit along that hierarchy. Yes. The general can punish more severely than the colonel can punish more severely than the captain, and on and on and on. So, when you have to maintain and establish any hierarchy, you must be able to punish, you must be able to prohibit. And so then the question you ask amongst Black women, who's going to be able to punish? Who's going to be able to check me, boo?
But
who's going to be able to do that?
I got an argument for that, and this a discussion also.
Let me play it real quick, Vince. Let me play it for Black women. Let me play it.
Who's going to check me, boo?
Right. But you,
Go
so
ahead.
I think one of the best conversations I had with you, Uru, and it goes back to this, right? We talking about that song Olivia Lost and Turned Out, right? We talking about the subculture of renegades. We talking about you can't worry about who's gonna punish you, who's gonna do whatever. When you're a renegade, you're already running on GTA 5 with 5 stars already. You talking about punishments and stuff. You talking
The
about
helicopter's already chasing you, the police.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Well, I do think,
After
look,
this, we got to get AB. Go ahead, yo.
as things tighten, and some that you're going to, at some point, there's going to be a reconfiguring of how you're going to survive and who or what you're going to be able to rely on to survive.
Right.
I think at some point there is going to be some refashioning of some sort of hierarchical relationships. Now, how long that take, what they become, I think it is left to speculation. But I definitely believe, look, I think, as Trump, if we're going to come off the DEI and the affirmative action, and those are going to have some real impacts to significant numbers and percentages of Black women in general, overall, Black women. And they are going to have to reconsider the importance of their relationships, and in so doing, the importance of what others think, say, and feel about them.
I think.
Wait, Vince, I gotta pause you because we gotta get AB because we cut AB all the way off. Right. So
I know how you feel.
Go ahead, go ahead, AB.
Yeah. To that point. That point though. Damn, I done forgot what I was going to say.
God damn, AB. I knew you was going to say it. I knew you was going to. Hey, the second I started hearing him move slower, AB be slow talking and stuff, goddamn Midwestern, so he be chill with it anyway. And once I saw him say, I was like, oh yeah, he lost it. I've been there. You see, now you forfeited your space. Go ahead, Compassionate. Go ahead.
What comes to mind is, I remember.
And we got Toya up here. She got right away after. So it's Black Rule right away, then Toya right away. But go ahead, Compassionate. So if Toya says something, y'all know.
I remember reading The Art of War, Sun Tzu's Art of War. He talked about a golden bridge or retreat that you always should leave your enemy. Never like back your enemy into a corner, and let them fight to the death. But and in a way, what's clear is that, like BGS said the other day, like white women take up much of the DEI positions as the economy retracts. They'll be affected, even more starkly than Black women, as far as economics and how the landscape will shift for them. But
Black women have left less of a safety net, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean by the golden retreat. They have they've salted the earth of this community and their structures, family, familial, community. To my point earlier, even the female structure amongst Black women has been kind of dissolved. So they have no bridge to retreat on across.
Well,
a lot of these non-Black women. Go ahead, Uru, my bad.
Well, you say I don't look. I think we need to define what DEI is, because that term is used somewhat haphazardly.
Yes.
There are certain positions that are, quote, DEI or whatever, where it's actual stated DEI. But then there's a lot of activities that might not by name be DEI, but are a product of the spirit of DEI and affirmative action.
Yeah.
And I think Black women are going to be severely impacted by it, because what happens is, and if you've been in corporate America or in these other environment governments, what you realize is that an order will be issued, but then the results of that order will take on a life of its own. And very often it'll expand beyond the stated purpose. So we're going after DEI, but what will happen is it will impact anything related to race, or gender, or sexuality, or whatever is influenced, so that it don't have to necessarily be, quote, DEI entitled. but those activities will be impacted. And I promise you, to the extent that that happens, Black women are going to be severe, especially you guys referred to the octane people in the public chat, especially the 89s and the 92s are going to be impacted.
They're going to be outside freezing.
Because those are who the white guys are going to go after, in case y'all don't know that.
Yeah,
they're not going to go after the 87s and the 85s. They're going to go after the 89s and the 92s.
And I 100% agree with you. And I didn't mean to make the case. I was basically saying that all, especially women, will be impacted by the coming times we're moving into, of course. And I agree. What I'm saying is that if those white women that will be affected, or all women essentially that's benefiting from affirmative action, DI, any program, cousins of those programs, as you spoke to, will be affected. But it appears to me that Black women are in a different boat than the rest of the women, that they, because of
let me do this.
Go ahead.
AB, did you remember what you were saying? What you were trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, and then we'll get Toya, and then we'll continue circling around. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there are women that back what we're saying, but they get shouted down. There's like it goes back to what Black Ruru was saying. There's no enforcement or punishment for punishing these ladies that do bad things, like going over to Pakistan, catfishing a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean,
although I mean, as BGS said, the reason why he covered her is because she's very typical, her mannerisms, her way of speaking. But I do think she a little off her meds though. She is off her meds. Yeah.
That's true.
But even if she still is, she's still typical. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, Z. There's a lot of untreated mental illness in the Black community, and we have to be honest about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but the difference between now and the past is, Big Ma and them, they never would let her crazy ass get on a plane.
Nah, that's true. That is true.
So
that is true.
That's the difference.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's do this. J Bones, thank you for the super sticker. And go ahead, Toya.
Toya, what's up? I didn't even see her up here.
Hi.
Nah, she snuck in,
Hey, Toya.
Hey, Toya.
Hi, y'all. Good to see everybody.
Hey, Miss Toya.
Black Uber, I emailed you. Please, if you have a chance to take a minute to respond, I'd really like to connect with you on something.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't check my emails enough. I'll definitely check out what you sent. Yeah.
Okay. If it's better for you, I'll put my phone number in the back chat.
Okay.
All right. You guys all know how I feel about this topic. I just really wanted to echo the sentiments that Lion made earlier with reference to how, and even what Black Uru was just saying, usually there was a checks and balance in place where if you're living at home with those elders, that they would be checking this behavior. And now that that isn't happening, we're really seeing the fallout of not having that support, I call it, because, for me, if anybody didn't know, I recently had to move back to New Jersey and I'm back in the house with my mother and my grandmother. And there are just some things that living alone I could get away with that I certainly just cannot do here. And and this is not to say that I was out here living foul, but there are just things that you do to respect the household. And being aware of that, you move differently. And so, do I miss my independence? Sure. But at the same time, I feel a covering and a support that I probably really needed and didn't know I needed until I got back here. And so, um, the fallout is going to be not just the continuation of that, but a further devolvement into not having a moral code or character. And this is what I meant when I was saying before about how Black women are autophagists and the fact that we really, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. We have to get used to stepping over dead bodies because there are going to be a lot of them. There are going to be even more of them. We're seeing it being broadcast. We're seeing it be exploited in other countries now.
Yep,
You
yep,
know, we've been the laughing stock for quite some time, but now we're seeing it on a worldwide scale,
yep.
exploited for other countries to say, hey, just in case you thought there was some level of value here, this is it. This is what the value is. We're going to put you on a grand stage and make fun of you and show you as an example of why we don't want our women to be exposed to this type of lifestyle.
Yeah, yep. That's the message I got from that too.
And just
Yeah,
like,
so that was the message I got too.
and it's a metaphor for Black women at large that just like Shorty in Pakistan, it appears to be completely unaware that they're not laughing with her, that they're putting her up on the stage, making an example essentially out of her, is what Black women, a lot of Black women can't read that writing on the wall in here in the States.
I
Yeah.
think that's true though, Compassion, but I'm of two minds. I think you're right, and there's another part of me that think that they enjoy being the mascot for the BS, as KMS said here,
The attention is
right?
good attention,
And,
basically. Yeah.
and I think that they think they can maneuver that into something positive.
Can
Somehow they could climb up the ish hill, the shit hill, and still come out with the linen suit being all white.
Well, again,
it sounds
it
crazy.
always comes back to punishment.
Yeah.
You know, show me any misbehavior, repeated misbehavior, and I'll show you a child, essentially, quote, child has been neglected of punishment. I mean, I am astounded that this woman, I mean, I guess because she's an American. And so maybe that gives some pause as to how they think they should treat her. But I'm astounded how they are allowing her to misbehave. I would consider her behavior over there to be an embarrassment. I'm actually surprised that the Pakistani men in particular are allowing her to behave that way, unless, of course, as I said, there's some concern about her being an American and some particular diplomatic issues associated with that. But then what I don't get is just throw her ass on a plane and get her up out of there. I don't get it. You know, I don't
Perhaps
get it.
I could be of some assistance on that one.
Hey, let's do this. Let's do this, neighbor. Read this, and you could choose how you want to do it. Whether you want to read this and then say what you're going to say, is the other way around. Go ahead.
I'll
You
read
go
it
ahead.
first. All right.
Okay.
First of all, Els Active, thank you very much, mate, for the £9.99 in pence. I mean, the Cash App is really just taking too much out of you, mate. That's the truth to Miss Z. But anyway, he says, LOL. Once I accidentally put 20 plus girls in a WA group chat named Possibles, thinking I was putting them in a category. They all went mad. They couldn't believe that they weren't first choice. Ha 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 ha.
And thank you for that, neighbor. Go ahead.
All right. Black Guru, you understand that Pakistan is and this is coming from somebody who grew up around South Asians. You have to understand that. Fucking hell, mate. Fucking hell. But anyway, bloody hell. But anyway, the South Asians, they don't mess around. But it's not like the Middle East. I know it's a predominantly Muslim country, but you have to understand different culture, different mentality. So they're not as strict like that in Pakistan. Also, Pakistan is dealing with enough social issues as it is. They're not
Pakistan, you mean former India?
Northwestern part of India, yes.
Yep.
But then again, that's formerly known as Western Pakistan. There was an Eastern Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh. Learn your history, motherfucker. So don't try to get with me like that. So they're not gonna just mess with it like that. And plus, as a Black woman, they have also anti-Black racism in that part of the world. There is still colorism there, and the fact that she's just some buffoon, they're not taking her seriously like that.
Okay, but why wouldn't they just put her on a plane and send her back to the?
I think they already put her on her plane. She's on her way back by now.
Oh, okay.
I read a couple articles.
No,
where
they did.
They did.
Yeah, she's on the plane.
I mean, it was the U.S.
She might actually be back already.
She's already back by now. I mean,
yeah. That's what. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So they're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised that it went on as long as the farce went on as long as it did.
Somebody just said they were trying to maybe use her as an example. Which one of y'all? Somebody just said that. Was that you, Compassion, or was okay? That's what I thought. Yeah. So, and I think you're right. I think you're right. I think it's a look at how foul she is. This is exactly what we don't want. Look at this inside.
So
And
the
that
anti-Western or anti-American
anti-West,
message?
exactly. And the problem is it's a black woman's face.
Well, if that was their purpose, then I think that mission was
achieved.
accomplished.
Yep.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I have to mention this. Like I said, there is colorism over there. White people, when they come down, yeah, they can be a little egregious, but here's the thing. The desire for white is also as common on that part of the world as it is in the Western Hemisphere. They have their own form of mejora la raza in a sense. That goes back centuries back, and not to mention the history of slavery in that part of the world is unknown to many people.
Okay, now let me ask this question, Namer. It was so intended to you. But was that just informational, or is there a connection to what we were just talking about?
It's information, but it's also connected.
No, I did not intend for that to be an insult.
Z, I got the sledgehammer for the windows. Back up. I want to hear the man. Let the man speak.
Getting the message that he was communicating. That's
Man,
the only reason I asked that question.
Y'all know Namer is our encyclopedia.
I appreciate that. I just, I'm getting older. And sometimes
I'm messing with them.
There's an insight I'm trying. Yeah, and sometimes Z has to understand. I have the sledgehammer ready for the Z. So please back up. And
the Z need work anyway. But go ahead.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. I got the tow truck too. So we'll go there. I will go there. Don't try me. But Black Guru, I'm trying to make the connection here that you're saying about anti-Western. They do have that answer, but the irony is that a lot of them do have a craving for heading to the West, but they'd rather do it through a white woman. Hell, South Asian men, they do have an obsession for white women.
Pause right there. Wait. Something you just said. They have a craving for white women. Who did the 19-year-old think that he was speaking to?
A white woman.
Blonde, blue-eyed white woman. That's what they said.
Are y'all serious? So she catfished him?
She catfished him. She catfished him.
She catfished.
Wow.
Oh,
you see?
Oh, it all makes sense now.
She catfished him.
She was like a blonde. Go ahead.
I can give you prime example.
Because I want to link this to something. I want to link this, and then you got it after this. Jason Black said this years ago. I think he was scrolling on Twitter or whatever, and the white dude that used to host Catfish, some black women, how they wax poetic, strong, independent, and they host.
Yeah, I remember that show.
And you remember? And the Catfish dude, the white guy that hosts the show, was like, "Yeah, and black women stay catfishing too." Yeah. And so,
didn't they say explicitly that black women were the most egregious?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
So my man thought he was meeting up with Ariel, and Ursula showed up.
Look,
wow.
I just want to say this about the catfish thing, and that was hysterical. Now that, to me, that is truly sad. There's something about pretending you are somebody else that really digs deep at me and being black and being a black man that finds black women attractive, and that they catfishing brothers. But they definitely, I agree. But they definitely catfishing the non-black men. Go ahead, AB, and then we got Namer. We got to get Namer back. Go ahead.
Yeah, that should be. Don't talk about. It should be a misdemeanor. Though.
Don't talk about. Okay, don't talk about twos that use makeup like witchcraft like that.
Hey, bro. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the women and the
Transformers.
Thank you. You already know what I was trying to say, Namer. Go ahead.
That dude that got tried, the dude that the young man, the 17-year-old that deleted that we was meeting up with that transgen. Yeah, he got sentenced. Yeah, he got sentenced like 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can't be premeditated, you guys. Anything premeditated, that's your ass. If it even look premeditated, that's your ass. Yep. Even if it don't look premeditated, if they on some PC stuff, that's your ass. Yep. Go ahead.
Anyway. But like I said, man, this is, like I said, their obsession for white, but not just white. What do white women represent to a lot of these folks? A way out of poverty. Because Pakistan's right now in a really shitty situation right now. So he was hoping that if he married a white woman from the U.S. or whatnot, or from the U.K., he could use that to help his family get out of Pakistan through visas and whatnot. Once he got himself settled up, and he was a 19-year-old who was naive enough. And it's not just that. It's not just them. You also see the same with Middle Eastern men. You'd be surprised how many of these men just like get marry foreigners because they understand that their children can acquire Western citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with
Asian men does the same thing.
It's the same thing with South Asian women and Middle Eastern women, especially in the case of Middle Eastern women, because citizenship laws in their countries are a little bit more different. But that's another discussion for another time. We'll talk about that later.
Let me
Go ahead,
do this.
folks.
So actually,
I'm done.
Black Uru, you have a super chat directed towards you, if you don't mind. And Cam, I was gonna say something else. I forgot. Oh, anyway, go, Black Uru, if you don't mind, you have a super chat. Is he
Chef
still?
Butter
Yeah, he's still. Okay. Yeah,
Thanks
go
for
ahead.
the super chat, Black Uru. How can you reconfigure the hierarchy of an ash heap? I don't see a course correction taking place quick enough, in my opinion. Salute to the panel. I think that is a cogent point. What you cannot look in any kind of major shift in things, you're not going to be able to anticipate everything that's going to happen, the actions and the motivations of everybody. And I do think that Black females in particular, ADOS females in particular, are incredibly adaptable. I think history proves that. I think, and they're very persuasive. I think Black men, all the social science says that Black men prefer their own women. I think Black women will be given every opportunity to save this thing, because I think there's going to be a fair number of men, many men, the majority of Black men, who are going to want to save shit. Now, whether they should or should not, that's a different argument. You know, we can debate whether they should or should not. But I think the majority of men are going to want to try to make something work. And so then question, that's why I always say, okay, what will be your, how will you enforce any kind of dealings with them? You know, ask yourself, well, what sort of punishment, what sort of enforcement can you set up when they come, when you let them in out of the cold? You know, well, what does the state say about occupancy and residency, for example, if you let some woman into your home, especially if she has children? You know, I'm just saying,
why would you do that?
You know, these are things that some Black men are going to do, brother. These are things that some Black men are going to do. I'm not saying you should do them. I'm saying that, you know, as
it's going to happen,
men try to figure out how they're going to live and go forward. You still have some brothers who do want to have families, who do want to have Black women. We can debate whether they should, but there are, you know, to the extent to which you will attempt to be smart and wise about how you do things, will determine how successful or unsuccessful those things are.
Can I reply to that?
Wait, give me a sec. As a matter of fact, go ahead, Vince, and then we get better. You go ahead, Vince, and then better.
I just want to put out here, because this is something I'm realizing the more we talk, and I wanted to toss this to you. I think that one of the things I think we're realizing that we're actually looking at is renegades, because we know it's not all Black women or just Black women or whatever like that, but people who are basically renegading against something of function. I don't want to say order, but function. We're talking about a dysfunction of communities, of relationships and things like that. But the word I want to just like throw in there again is renegade. Dealing with renegades and how you establish order among renegades or a cancer may have.
Well, you establish order with renegades how they do in any society historically. You know, whether cowboys or Roman, you know, whatever, you severely punish certain kinds of renegade behavior to break enough renegades to the point at which the other would-be renegades start to think and behave differently.
And one last thing.
That's how these are women. They're not Vultramites or, shit. They're not all powerful. Most
Viltrumites.
I'm sorry. Viltrumites.
I know what you meant.
I just got
see
through
you,
watching the latest few
Yeah, I
episodes.
see you, Uru. I knew what you meant. I heard you,
they're
bro.
not all, they're not, what's her name, Anissa's,
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Under the right circumstances, most of them can be broken. They will adapt.
And I think we in a period of wondering or trying to discuss. I think that's going to be an interesting conversation going forward, because I think accepting that most, like how Black men are going to navigate it, because the environment switching is going to compel them, to Uru's point, to at least feign whatever will help them survive. They're out in the cold. They're going. If you stand outside in the cold in this warm houses, you're pretty much willing to do whatever you got to do or say whatever you got to say.
Man, it sounds like what you saying sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah, and it is.
I mean, I've said before, my concern has never really been the women. My concern is whether or not the police are going to come to my house. Because whether or not the police come to my house will determine whether or how effectively I can manage that woman.
Yeah, hey, listen to that, fellas. It's deeper than it sounds.
Yeah, he's right.
Because all you all's complaints really is not about the women. All y'all complaints is about the state's interference.
Yes.
Let me.
That's why I say, until the laws changes, I don't care what they're talking about. I don't care about them complaints.
That's
I
a wise
way
perspective.
I have way less time than I thought. I thought I was gonna be able to be reckless for a little minute. Apparently not. So what we're gonna do is, because we've got about 15-ish minutes. So let's do this. I want to play the beginning of this again. I know, can't tell y'all. Not gonna incriminate myself, but so let's do this. I'm gonna play the beginning of this again. We're gonna get. As a matter of fact, Better you have anything you want to say yet?
I just got back in the car. What's going on?
No. Okay, then perfect. Let me play the beginning of this again, because I really want to focus on this, and I want to play Kevin afterward. As a matter of fact, we're going to play Kevin first, then we're going to play this clip. So let's play Kevin one more again. All right, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, and we're going to play this. Let me make sure okay, we're going to play this. I think, once again, winter is coming. That was the whole thing with Kevin Samuels, and winter is here now. It's only a few years later, and here y'all go. Oh, by the way, everybody mute up for this, and I'll because I don't want background noise and stuff. We're gonna let Kevin go, and I'll pause it right after the commentary, and we'll get to it.
All right, go ahead and unmute. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
You guys have been living in a fantasy land. You think that it's not going to happen. You think there's going to be some kind of bailout. There's going to be something else. There's going to be nothing. People right now are being put on the streets. In Dallas-Fort Worth, the constables are moving people out, putting their stuff on the front yard. You want to know what's coming, ladies? They're decriminalizing the oldest profession in the book. In New York City right now, the governor, the mayor said we're not going after people who are loitering the streets. So, like it or not, some parts of Manhattan, some parts of the 5 boroughs have been turned into right there in the streets. Go to World Star, you'll see the video yourself. Broad daylight, transactions happening on a stoplight. Guess what? That's New York. Guess where else it's about to come? California. States across the country, because why? There's not enough money to give to people. And if you're a woman and you have a regular job, let's just look at it. If you were not an essential worker during the pandemic, you were at risk. I was in Neiman Marcus the day they shut the world down, and I had never seen panic like that before. And all those women's eyes, because many of them have been with that company for 15, 20 years. All they had done is retail. Neiman Marcus is on the verge of bankruptcy, and the only thing that saved Neiman Marcus was the pandemic. Those women over there know they are coming back. And when the world stops again, many of these 40-year-old women are not going to have a job to go to and have no skills in the environment. Ladies, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and when winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 3 months. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world. The world, I have been studying this for the better part of 2 years. Look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? There are villages in Japan where people are outnumbered by freaking dolls. I'm not kidding. Japan is dying. An aging population and a group of people who are not dating. They're not dating. They're not marrying. They're not getting together. You know what it's called? Hikomori. Socially withdrawal. Socially withdrawn. These are talking about men 45 and under. Same thing with women. Remember we talked about kodukoshi? People dying in their apartments. We talked about Singyu, leftover cake, leftover women. Ladies, it's here. Winter is coming. August will be it. August, when the schools open, the people who have not been working will be forced to go back to work because the children must be in school. The daycares that are left will be there. What are you going to do if you go and have a job and you've been downsized, you've been automated? How many people have been to a McDonald's recently? And you'll notice that most of the front register staff is gone. It's kiosks. The largest two employers in our community of black women are federal government and retail. Retail is dead. We have 26.4 square feet of retail space for every American. The next largest developed country has 6. We have 6 times too many retail spaces. This is why you're seeing dying malls across the country. And what's going on? Because so many women are not being told to think about their long term. This is coming as a surprise. This is why women in Korea are saying we need to, the society is not set up for single people. And what the society needs to do is re-engineer itself for singles. Bullshit, it's not going to happen. Basically, what women in Korea and Japan are hoping that single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives. Not going to happen.
All right.
Clip all of that.
Hey, you see why I played it? Shout out there, and let me play this to kind of bring it all the way home, and then y'all could eat for the next like 10 or so minutes. Let me play this.
I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
That a lot of the times when we feel like we don't have any options, it's actually because our type doesn't like us.
But LA, whew.
Dumbass.
Yeah,
you know what? I can speak to that too. And I dated a chick that lived in LA. Let me tell you why things didn't work out. Because her dumbass thought it was a good idea to want to save it for marriage, even though we had a roll in the hay multiple times.
Hey. Look, look. Because I don't think the sister's straight. She's straight. She's definitely straight enough to be in a relationship or be married based off the looks alone. That means your attitude gotta be trash. Because black men are black men, and ma'am, if you're in LA, you ain't the baddest in LA. But
I think LA draws a certain mindset or creates a certain mindset of women that is, if you're a very beautiful white woman, very beautiful blonde white woman, totally works. I mean, you can live like a goddess, a 20-some-year-old blonde white woman. But if you are a black woman, that harboring that delusion and that entitlement in LA is just a disastrous combination. And I think what you have there are these very deluded, very self-glorified and vain women who are in an environment that severely punishes them for their vanity and their delusion. But they're not addressing their vanity and their delusion, which only makes the situation worse for them.
Yep.
Let me read this, and then because there's a question directed towards Black Uru on the next one. So let me read this one, and I'm already let me get the video ready for you. L's Active, because it's funny. Give me 1 second. And L's Active says, L says, I don't think the same black women chip is strong in the young millennials and Zoomers. Check them black women marriage and black men interracial marriage statistics. I think you're right. I don't think it's as strong as obviously boomers and older millennials and Xers. I agree with that. But it's still it's still there. It's still there, right? They still them dudes gonna be Captain, Captain Save them. They still right. They still gonna save them, right?
That's
And
fine,
else,
and let
thank you
them
for the
get
super chat
burned,
too.
and let
Hey,
them
hey,
put
hey,
their
what you
hands
said?
on the stove.
Let them put their hands on it. They're gonna get burned. They're gonna get scorched. Hey, you already know the ladies gonna want to go scorch earth because they didn't get what they want. But that's for the ones that
What
don't
else is
really
new?
appreciate their position, right? And let's do this. Black Ooh, this is directed towards you, and if you don't mind reading.
Thanks,
Black Ooh,
KMS.
oh, there
Uru.
you go. There you go. Okay.
Uru, I agree. I believe black women will be given every opportunity to course correct. I still believe they will sorry.
Oh,
Well,
my apologies. I took it off the screen. My apologies. I'm over here doing too much. My apologies. There you go. There you go, Black Ooh.
they will fuck up because they will be given every opportunity without penance. They must feel the fire. No, I categorically agree. That's
Yeah.
why I repeatedly say, punishment, accountability, retribution, penance is a very important part of punishment and accountability. So no, I agree, KMS, and the degree to which you can meet retribution or compel them to pay penance is going to be an important part of what would be necessary to have any shot of having any sort of viable relationships with them. And now, look, I'm not asserting that you young men should or must give them a chance. I think a significant number of black men will, because I think black men in general want to have women. And I think in general, black men are, all things being equal, generally are more attracted to black women. I think the available social science confirms that, as it confirms that all groups of men prefer the women of their own group over that of other women. So if there is a significant number of former or current renegades that are given a chance, they'll be given a chance in large part because black men want on some level to put things to work, whether we think they should or should not.
Yep. Hey. It's looking tough. I actually think I should let Black Ooh. I think that should be the benediction. That should be the end. It ain't looking good. The ladies are crying. Y'all saw the white women. The white women are out here, and we know with this lady, her situation is a bit different. But this one.
I feel so lonely, and I want a boyfriend or a partner or husband or whatever so badly, but I just desire love so strongly, and it's such a passionate, deep, strong feeling inside of each of us, or at least specifically myself.
Giggity.
Yet it's so hard for me, at least, to express it in words. The feeling, it just feels like, I want to say emptiness, but that is wrong, because I used to always look for a man to fill the emptiness inside of me, and after many, many years of looking for men to fill that emptiness in me, I realized that the only one who could fill that emptiness was God. But the desire for a boyfriend or husband or whatnot is so strong inside of me. And I always try to not fight it, but kind of, because I know that the reason why I am not with someone right now is because it's not the right time, and God.
So I'm not trying to make fun of this.
It's never the right time for them.
Bruh, and so yeah, apparently she was in the streets or whatever, and she might be out here, So, but the sentiment still, the what I'm focused on is the sentiment, the fact that you now want to find somebody and you feel lonely.
You don't want a man.
When is it the right time? Finally, when is it the right time for them to finally feel it?
Yeah,
when
they
hit the wall.
Yeah, when the eggs are fried.
Hey, Mr. Z. See, sometimes I would want these chicks to admit that they want a soy boy that they can lead around by the nose, that they can lead around with.
I mean, a few of them will say that, right? A few of them will say something like, "Let me play it for you, AB." A few of them will say, where we at? Where we at? Where did it go? Where did we go? Where did it go? I got you. 1 second, AB. But a few of them will admit that it's just not often that they'll
That's
say
when men
this.
used to protect, provide, and shut up.
And AZ,
Yeah, right.
one thing,
Protect, provide, and shut up. Go ahead.
one thing I think about when I realize, like, when you talk about, like, feminism and the left and stuff like that, and I think about, like, this space and stuff right here, is that just because a man's on the left doesn't mean that he's like pliable or doesn't want a sense of autonomy or is like, kneeling and hailing to the almighty vagina. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have a whole stream about that, and I'm gonna allow people to come. I'm going to have those of us that might lean a little bit to the left initially, but then I'm gonna bring in everybody else because I make a think about it. But I do because I understand why certain brothers are responding the way they are with this environment, and I can appreciate why in their minds there is a response that says, well, if you lean this direction, then you probably with all
Candy
the
grab a
efforty,
mango.
right? So
Candy
yeah,
grab a mango.
I understand that. I understand that. So yeah, I mean, what you're saying is you definitely are preaching to the choir right now. But I like I said, I'm gonna have a separate stream about that, and we'll bring the brothers up, the centrist and conservative brothers, so they could address that because I think at least I can understand why they think that if you lean a bit more to the left, that you probably with all the effery and the trans in the women's restroom and the all the other BS stuff, right? And let me read this real quick. And Saint Sear says, and thank you for the super chat. It's 2025, and there's a lot of flavors out there. Out here, Uru is Baskin Robbins and chocolate ain't the only flavor. Baskin Robbins and chocolate ain't the only flavor. Black Uru, that's what they say, and this is true. Like we get it, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
31
and the
flavors.
available social science says that black men prefer chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think no, it's true. Let's do this. I think Betty, you was trying to say something. Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, I think there's a confluence of a couple things. For one, when it comes down to that, like I said, there's a real minority of women who do prefer somebody who's kind of soft like that. What they really want though is they want men who they see as wolves and lions to acquiesce to them. They don't want to raise a puppy. They want to break a wolf.
Wait. Pause. Better you. I just met you online a couple of years ago. When Grapevine had their show out of New York years ago, I said in the comments, if they would repost it and those comments would populate, you would see Z somewhere in one of these videos. I literally said the same thing. That was what, 6-7 years ago? Maybe 8 years ago? I literally said, no, actually it was longer than that. It might have been a decade ago.
2016,
yeah, exactly. I literally said this. I said, y'all don't want, and I didn't say, I said either Great Danes, not Great Danes. I said either last year or something. But the other part that you said, y'all want to break wolves, I said those words verbatim somewhere in their comments because you can hear it. And by the way, the reason why I keep on referring to the Grapevine, for those of you that don't know, it was this kind of group of younger black folks, professionals mainly, and they had these type of conversations, and it had an extreme feminist bit, an insane feminist bit. And I said the same thing Better You said, but go ahead, Better You. We only got like 2-3 minutes, y'all, because Z can do reckless, and yeah, we did, yeah. Anyway,
That's
so
because
go
I
ahead,
got the tow truck.
They want to break wolves, but beyond that, I think we're seeing the confluence of two things. You have a sizable chunk of women who, frankly, just they don't know how to compete, and you're seeing that frustration born out with these crime videos, these crash outs, all of these types of things. Because, I mean, in particular, just for black women, you have to think. You're talking like the Man in the House. What was the movie? Pauline, I think was the movie. Somebody like Uru could probably correct me. That was like Claudette. Yes, thank you. That was like the late 60s, early 70s. And you're talking at this point, 3, maybe 4 generations of young ladies who've not been enculturated into a culture that doesn't know how a family functions. So dysfunction is their function. And they don't know how to bring a man into their life. They don't know any of that shit because they've never had it. They've never seen it. And you're seeing that's why they're crashing out the way they are. That's why they're unbearable. That's why they are how they are. It's because they don't know any other way.
My response is let them.
Nobody that can check them.
And let them crash. Let them crash out. I'm going to get some popcorn. Anybody want something?
Hey, let's do this for you, Line. Let them freeze. Leave them in the cold. Leave them in the cold.
Yep.
They out here. They out here in the blizzard. In the blizzard, Line. Line, you ain't
Forget my
got
nachos.
Look, wait, look, Line. She outside. You in the nice warm house. You leave her out there. She out the window.
Nah, it's even worse. I'm like Joker in the Dark Knight when he tied that dude up. And he's about to burn the money. He started throwing cash at the dude at the top. Yeah, that's me. I'm throwing snow at him.
Let me read this real quick. Yeah, real quick because I gotta go, y'all. You guys. So let me read
I'll
this
read it.
so we can
Let me
address
read
it.
it then.
No, I got it. Camex says, and thank you for the super chat. They want a man who can kick ass too, but won't kick they ass too. Problem. They have broken the social contract. We've all said this true, and no longer doing things and acting in a way to prevent from getting their ass kicked. Hey, we don't look. The environment is kicking their ass. The men are leaving them out there in the cold. They freezing out here. They're freezing. Look, here we go. Yeah, they freezing. Right. Lion said leave. Lion said let me actually put this down so y'all can see the rest of this. Lion said leave her out here. Let her freeze. She said burr. She outside. Lion said leave her. Leave her in the cold. Right. So let's do this. Look, I gotta end out you guys because look, I'm not gonna incriminate myself. So anyway, so thank you for that KMS. Last minute, stuck in with it. So we will do this, you guys. I'm gonna try to come back tomorrow. So this is like a damn near part 3. So I'll just run through all these clips again, and then we'll try to bring you guys back. But it's winter time. It's cold out. Kevin tried to tell them years ago, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. You see how the ladies are responding. And notice it's not just black women, it's white women, it's Latina women. I have clips of Asian women I've seen throughout the years. It's getting cold, but especially now, I think you're going to see them, and this is their way of like begging without begging. It's like swaggy begging. This is their way of swaggy begging on the internet for somebody to save them from them in the tatters that is their life. And so with that, we'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Thank y'all for listening, and thank y'all to the chat. We will be streaming tomorrow, hopefully, knock on wood. Exactly. So we will play this for you guys, and we out. All right, y'all. Mrs. Z out.
Hey, after the party, there's a party, okay? Who wants to stay with me?
All right.